Hello. Welcome. We are back for episode 7, House of the Dragon, House of Le Dragoon. What do you normally call it, Carmine?
Exactly that. Yeah, that's it.
Casa de Le Dragoon. How
Absolutely.
many languages can we get in there? Um the so it's it's funny again being in this like episode 7 and comparing it to episode 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Okay, and I'm not talking episodes 1 and 2. That's a different story, different season 1 and 2. But 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, they all have a similar feel. They all kind of lack big, absolutely huge climaxes, spectacle. They just kind of flow, and they kind of flow in a the only thing that I can compare it to, and I don't mean to compare it to this because obviously I think the other show is better. Like The Wire is what I'm comparing it to for a second. But now The Wire, there's good seasons of The Wire and there's bad seasons of The Wire. But the one thing that's interesting about The Wire is that all the episodes just kind of flow together and you can't really remember what happened in one episode versus the next, you kind of binge it and it's just kind of going and you're engaged and the characters are just doing stuff, and then the episode ends at kind of a random time and you begin the next episode and you kind of forget what happened in each one, unlike normally Game of Thrones or House of the Dragon. But this season has been so strange, and like I say, I don't mind it. I think episodes 3 to 7, they're all about the same quality. They're all okay. There's a lot of focus on personal on characterization and a lot of dialogue. It's like I'm digging it fine. It's just very different. It's very different from
See,
the
there's the problem right there.
yeah.
They're fine. They're okay. But for something with the Game of Thrones brand on it is okay. Okay.
Yeah.
Like when I think of Game of Thrones, I think of those first 3, 4, I would argue 5 seasons of like quality. Like, oh, damn, that was good. Ooh, the lines. And here it's like, yeah, it's fine. It's
Mhm.
okay.
Yeah, it's fun. Yeah.
Yeah, it's fine. It's whatever. It's all right.
I
But
mean,
this is not a
obviously,
penultimate episode. This is not.
obviously jetpacks are ridiculous this season, and
Preston, I wish the Rivermen Northmen army had jetpacks. It's been taking them how many episodes to get to
it's
Dumbledon?
hilarious. It's hilarious. I mean, it's funny because they're like, oh, they crossed the Blackwater. They'll be here in 2 days, and you're like, that's a fair distance because they were supposed to be up at Stony Sept, right? But they were just chilling in the Riverlands, walking around. Meanwhile, John Roxoff, he like gets all the way up to Corlys and back in that time. Allison makes it all the way to Harrenhal. It's incredible. But I guess Aegon's just been kind of wandering around in the same area and all of that. But
People love to do this thing in my comments where it's like, Carmine, quite clearly time passes between scenes. Yeah, but Jesus Christ, how, like it, it's so out of whack.
yeah, I mean
Whatever.
they've been careful lately. They haven't really been commenting on how much time has passed like they were before. Um, like with it, around the centering around the Allison trip, like they were saying, like, oh, 2 days passed, 1 day passed, that kind of stuff. They've been more careful here, where you're just like, how long has it been now? We have no idea. Like, could be days, could be weeks. We have no idea what's going on. So it's I mean, I think there was one reference to they were 2 days behind Vagar looking at a big pile of poo. And that's like the best you can do, but how long have they been chasing Vagar? Who knows? Um
So what's going on here in the penultimate episode is supposed to like have some crazy shit.
yeah.
There was what was really crazy here. I mean,
They tried to
Uh,
make the dragon rumble crazy,
the vomit of
but
CGI that was just an
it
eyesore.
was a lot of CGI. That was probably my least favorite part of the whole episode, because also just the characters were doing weird things and like jumping off their dragons and being fine and knocking each other off their dragons, and yet no point did I think any of the dragons would die or anyone was at risk. It was just a big CGI kerfuffle that went nowhere.
What's
But
funny is like
yeah,
they have to as the dragons constantly keep yelling at each other, they have to be like, get her, what, get her, what did you say, Caraxes? Like everyone's just yelling and they
yeah.
can't say
It's
anything.
funny because
Like
they're like, get her. It's just like, you're on a dragon, just fucking burn them. Like it's just that would have ended it. Fire first, ask questions later. But what? Yeah, that was the weirdest. But let's see. Going through it,
can I
you
just say it's
digging
the
the Aemon
funniest
stuff
episode?
sufficiently creepy?
Yes, it like everyone tries not to be Oedipus, but he wants to be Oedipus.
Oh yeah, it's that was
this is this is possibly the unintentionally funniest episode for me because there's so many funny things that happen. Like Aemon being creeped out that he's not fucking his mom.
yeah,
Hilarious.
that's weird. Like, oh my god.
Hilarious.
Oh geez, I thought I was fucking my mom. I'm sorry. Like what?
Ugh,
Yeah.
you're not my. Ugh.
Ew.
I'm expecting you. I'm pulling a Preston here, but this is one of the very few times I think you would be so right to call this out. Allison somehow knows herbology, and she knows how to like make a fucking like poison. Like,
Oh yeah. She sees that like flower and is like, yeah, okay. It's a really dumb plan, by the way, sending Allison to poison her own son. Why
I'm
would
sorry, I hate to
anyone?
break it to you. You're wrong. It's the most brilliant thing Rhaenyra's ever done because quite clearly Alicent is Rhaenyra's strongest soldier. Alicent delivers her the City Watch, delivers her the fucking Red Keep technically because the defenses get down.
I mean, fair enough. I mean, you mean besides Damon, who's usually doing everything? I
I
mean,
mean, hey,
you're
look,
you're kind of right, but like, like if you were in this position, there's no way you would send a mother who you're keeping as hostage to out with only one other person to go on a long week long well, I mean, either
Preston,
24-hour trip or 3 week trip to Harrenhal.
Preston,
to
Alicent's track record is impeccable. She successfully did this coup back in season 1. She got she got Aemon out of King's Landing, delivered the City Watch to Rhaenyra, had them lower the defenses. Alicent's track record is impeccable. Like she somehow is managing to come in and out of the Red Keep. Like she's
yeah.
the ultimate assassin. She's Rhaenyra's strongest soldier. If you think about it, there is nobody besides Daemon. There's nobody else.
Yeah.
Fuck
By the way,
dragons. Just send Alicent.
who else is at Harrenhal? Is there a cook? Did Alice Rivers like say who else was at Harrenhal? Like who's cooking their meals?
There has to be a cook. Like there was a stable boy that they stabbed.
Yeah, and then but it's these little things. I'm like, is somebody changing the chamber pots? They doing that themselves? I don't know. Who's
Absolutely
changing the
not.
bed
There's
linens? Like
there's hired help. There's no way. There's like groundskeepers. Who's trimming the hedges? Like there's
who's
got to
trimming
be
the hedges? You're right.
there's got to be a guy. The other thing about this episode that's unironically funny is when Mysaria and Rhaenyra like start to get it on. Rhaenyra lays back and like Mysaria stands over her briefly as if she's about to pull out her cock. That's just unintentionally funny. I'm sorry.
Yeah,
This episode is
yeah.
just. I'm sorry. And
They're
Allison
trying to give
goes,
Mysaria some stuff to do. This was like this was all of a sudden they're like, we've been giving Alicent a lot of shit to do. Let's give Mysaria something. Um, the so the Aemon stuff, yes, funny, very entertaining. I suppose you got to give him something to do. Uh, Still don't know what Alice Rivers' motivation, but I guess it's somehow working out. It was very funny, the mother-in-law dinner. that was kind of funny. Everybody's a lot of comments on like, yep, just like when I have dinner with my wife and mother-in-law, you know.
I love what Kyle said here. If Masario pulled out a dick, I'd give the show 5 stars. Absolutely.
That would be a
Absolutely.
surprise. That would be really funny. Like all this time she was like a hermaphrodite or something, and we never, you know, that
Explains
would
the
be
change in access.
that would be something. That would be really something.
I'm
I'm
sorry.
trying
I'm
to.
sorry. I'm going off track. No. Rhaenyra, Allison, Rhaenyra's strongest soldier. Fucking Damon. I man, this is the most stressed out I think he's been the entire show. Like he's had to go
Yeah,
back and all over the place, and he's trying to explain to Rhaenyra and yada yada.
he does a lot of flying. He does a lot of flying in this. I mean, to the Vale and back, to the
He's
Riverlands
all
and
over the
back,
place.
all over the place. Um, what you another great Jane Eyre scene. I think they know that like Damon and Jane Eyre have like brilliant chemistry on screen, and so they're just like, let's do this again. Let's do this again. Can we have an entire show of Jane Eyre and Damon Targaryen, the odd couple? Um, it would
And
be that would be the best. Like,
who said Ryan Condon doesn't read the books? He got Jane Eyre's lover in there too. I
yeah, he
forgot the
did. He
name.
did. Of course,
He got her
who's
lover.
of course he always throws in something to prove that he reads the books. Um, the I how are you liking the Aegon uh plot in the Crownlands? Um,
I wasn't digging it. Like I didn't understand what was the point him going to Rook's Rest and eating that guy's shit-filled shoes. But then like, was he
right.
supposed to have a newfound appreciation for the
Was he
common
supposed to
folk? I don't.
learn something? Because in the end, he
Right.
hasn't learned anything. You know,
Not
they're
really.
all
I guess he's a bit more humble because these two guys finally talk shit to his face. But okay, whatever. But Sunfire's back, yay!
yeah, yay, yay. Um, yeah. I mean, I I went back and looked at that shot of Sunfire's face in the dirt while like Aegon is like stroking it and everything, and it's like you can see most of it. I was surprised that his face was all half off um, at the end, uh, but he did look cool. Tyland's character kind of all over the map. I'm surprised about his like the nobility of Thailand in this episode. I don't know where that came from, rather than
He's
being.
loyal. He's loyal to Aegon through and through. I gotta give him props for that. I
I
gotta give
know,
him
but where
props
does
for
that
that.
come from? You know, like I guess we always just considered Thailand to be, I don't know, a meek what dude, right? You know, getting
He's
tossed.
kind of a whatever character, which is again the shame. Like Tylan, super bro, also still should have given him time in season 2 to really make us like him more. But
And I'm surprised that Laris, after all the shit he's done, he's just like, yeah, I'm gonna fuck off. Like, really, you're fucking off now because you've been through a lot of shit and you haven't fucked off, and now you're fucking off at this moment. It's kind of weird, but it's fine. Um, the Corlys scene and his finger, that's kind of out of nowhere. Don't
no,
know.
it's not because remember what the Ormond sends her the message, which was fuck, what was it? It was if you kick this dog, it will bite your hand. Corlys is her hand, so he was
Mm,
biting her. Get it?
yes, no, yeah. Good joke. Good joke.
No, that's what he meant. That's what he meant.
I would have liked to know the logistics of how Ormond was able to go out and have a conversation with Ulf. Because if you're Ulf, wouldn't you be like, these guys are just gonna fucking assassinate me immediately? And if you're Ormond, shouldn't you be like, this guy's just gonna burn me to death immediately? Be
Did you get the
really, really
idea
difficult.
that? Did you get the idea that Ulf has been working for him for quite some time, and maybe that's why Damon caught him in the city? Did you get that idea?
I didn't think of that. No.
like because it felt like this is not the first time they had this conversation, and I think he mentions that maybe. But
Yeah. Huh.
I would have liked to have seen how Ormond courted Ulf. I would have liked to have seen that. I don't know, like
Right. I mean, you could conceivably send like one scout out, like unarmed, be like, "Hey, Ulf, just want you to know that like Ormond wants to go out and talk to you," and he'd be like, "Okay," and then Ormond comes out and he just flames him to death, and then it's like, like, like why would Ormond? I guess he has these spies or whatever that have gotten this information back to him that like this guy's compromised and easy, but I guess yeah. Somebody's like, Ulf just wanted to drink with the boys. Yeah, I mean, logistically it's complicated on how they would set this up, but I guess that's why it
would have been
happens off
fucking
screen. They don't want to
would have
deal
been
with
fucking
that.
awesome if Ulf was actually the Gold Cloak killer and he's been playing the idiot, like that. The role he's been playing of the idiot drunk is he's actually not an idiot drunk. He's actually a fucking mastermind. That would have been like, oh
Yeah,
wow.
yeah, yeah, and it's too bad that they went straight with the Ulf thing because it's like it was so like it would have been funny to flip it the other way because we saw the Ulf thing coming. Like they've put like 6 episodes in of like them treating Ulf like shit. So it would have been
Hmm.
kind of funny if he wasn't the one that was the betrayer, but that it was Hugh. But they did it. They did it with Ulf. You saw it coming. I'm trying to think anything else. I mean, we get that quick Frey. That obviously Frey and Manderley are awesome characters. That was funny. I think Frey, they're good. But and then there was this random love triangle situation with Adam and Alan and Bela that they
You got
shoved in.
you got the feeling of a love triangle. I didn't get that feeling at all. In fact, there was like this rumor on TikTok, and people kept asking me about it, where people saying they got screeners kept lying about it and saying like there was an Adam Allen Bela threesome scene. I'm like, what the fuck did you guys watch? Like, where were you getting that from?
Threesome, no, but I mean, there's a love triangle in that. It's clear that in this episode that Adam was liking Bela and was mentioning
Hmm.
how he wanted to get legitimized so that he could ask to marry her. But then he framed the question like a particular person could ask you to marry, and she's like, "Oh, you've been talking to your brother," and it's like, "Oh, wow, wow, wow."
Oh,
So
you got that? I didn't get that feel, but then again, when it comes to love
no,
stuff like that,
it
I'm an
was
idiot.
straight up explicit. There's no feel. No, it was straight up explicit.
That went over
Adam
my
wanted
head.
to marry Bela, but Alan has already kind of like beat him to the punch with romance, at least. Yeah, but that's that. It was pretty explicit. Yeah, in this episode, but
When it
not
comes
that
to
we're gonna be.
anyone confessing their love for anybody or like whatever, I that shit always goes over my head. So
Yeah, yeah, but they did have to give Adam something to do because. But I mean, I don't know who does a lady choose? Does she choose the guy with the castle or the guy with the dragon? um, they still never explained how the fuck Thailand found Aegon. there's some really funny, ridiculous stuff. I mean, but they've hidden it all under really good acting and pretty good pacing and things like that in this episode. Um, Even though you do admit that the entire like all of these circumstances are ridiculous, like the jetpacks and how people are able to talk to each other and the coincidences and everything. But uh, and then there's the random Saria, Eamon's girlfriend
the
scene.
madam.
Yeah. Any I don't know what that's all about. Maybe it's going to lead into something to do with the riot later. But it seems like from the previews, next episode is just Tumbleton, 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 like
Oh
one
shit!
big fucking battle.
I didn't. I didn't watch the next episode preview. What's it? Hold on. Do you mind if I watch it real quick? I'll mute myself. But
Sure, sure.
how's
It, it's
how's it
it's
looking?
literally just it's literally just Tumbleton battle, like armies going
Hmm.
and then battles. That's all it is.
The fucking screeners don't have these next episode previews, which would be really fucking useful, but they don't. Give me a sec. Oh, what before I BRB. One character I didn't expect to like as much as I did this season, Daron. Like,
Yeah, Darren's great. Yeah,
I feel so bad for that kid. He just wants to fly. He just wants to be alone, left alone. Just wants to go do his
I'm
thing. Poor
surprised when
Daron.
they're like, "Oh, what do you do?" It's like, just go to fucking Essos, man. Go to Essos.
Yeah.
Get out of here, dude. Get out of here.
Also,
Are they just settling that Daron's hair is not blonde, is not silver, is not blonde?
I don't know what they're doing with that. I thought it was like a dye, but I guess not. Maybe
But it's
it's
been
just
long enough that it should start coming in. So I think it's just like his hair is. But then
I,
why would you send a decoy with blanched hair? Wouldn't spies and everything know Daron's true hair color?
who the
Huh.
fuck knows?
His hair should be growing in quite a bit. A lot
Hmm.
of time has passed here. People have been going back and forth like, over
I
and
would
over
have
here.
I would have loved have had Ormond been more of like a sly, crafty character instead of throwing fucking tantrums every now and then. Because it just seems like he's stumbling into these like great plans. Like Ulf betraying, I think he feels like he stumbled into that. Capturing Corlys, it feels like he stumbled into that, even though he's making these
Oh,
calculated
Ormond.
moves.
I mean, I think
Mhm.
I think the Ulf stuff you can claim well it's because you've been watching. He was clever enough to follow Ulf and have spies about and report back and like think about exactly what this guy wants and stuff like that. Um, Not that offering somebody a lordship is exactly clever, or anything like that. He didn't necessarily need to do that. He could have just gone to him anyway and been like, "Do you want a lordship?" And it probably would have worked, like depending on the guy. So
This did not feel like a penultimate episode. Penultimate episode usually changes the game for everybody involved. I don't feel like anything's changed here. Like, yeah, Allison possibly killed Aemon. Not She didn't, but
yeah, no,
like,
I'll
what's
grant that like the whole season three through seven does feel like it's treading water. Like you do
it
feel
does
like
absolutely.
you know that had they said House of the Dragon only gets 3 seasons, this would have all been one episode, and they would have
Mhm.
moved on, and we would have been like doing other shit. Like episodes 3 through 7 would have been 1 or 2 episodes, and but they were granted 4, so then now they're like lengthening stuff out.
I I I almost don't want to think that they're. I almost don't want to think that episode 1 of season 4 is going to be the real penultimate episode of season 3. This writing team is so dog shit. They're kind of making me miss Tony Gilroy from Andor because that 3 episode structure is fucking king. Had Tony Gilroy been doing this, oh my god,
I mean,
shit would have
Tony
been going
Gilroy
down.
would have been doing a lot of things differently. Okay, that guy is on a
Jesus
different fucking
Christ.
level. Okay, let's not compare anyone here with Tony Gilroy. Like,
No,
like okay,
I'm comparing them to Tony Gilroy. Like that, Tony Gilroy is just much better than these guys. Like, how do you
Tony
did
Gilroy is
nobody
the
on this
best, like maybe the best in the business right now.
Sure. And how do you not watch Andor and be like, we got to copy this, we got to do something with this? Like, did you guys not watch Andor? To the writing team, did you guys not watch Andor? You should have.
Yeah.
That 3 episode structure is fucking king. You could have done it here. A good writing team like adapts. I understand HBO didn't give them that budget for those last 2 episodes last season, but a good writing team adapts to any new
Yeah,
challenge
no.
on this, and they could do that.
And finally, really the Helena stuff. I
You got your Dreamfire.
Dreamfire, and I'm digging that Dreamfire looks, horny. Dreamfire looks horny, and no, like I do like the fact that the dragons look so different, and Dreamfire looks very different. Some people are like, "Is that how Dreamfire looked before?" And it's like, well, here's the thing: we don't really know what Dreamfire looks like. I admit there was a scene in season 1 where Aemond goes and is scared off by a dragon, but we aren't really sure 100% that was Dreamfire. Everybody kind of assumed it was Dreamfire, but might have been somebody else.
Oh, I'm sorry. Someone says here, not Carmine, things change a lot and now that the Greens have a chance. Do they? Like, Eamon's still out of commission. Daron is not really a part of the plan that much. It's just really Aegon who's like done one thing.
Yeah.
So Helena is technically a hostage. Okay, there's not much really happening on Team Green. Team Black still has the advantage. Also, right
Right.
away
I mean,
about Daron.
Team Black could, like I say, like they could just go and fucking burn Tumbleton to the ground and win and be done.
I mean,
And then they just have to deal with they have to deal with. Really, they should have everybody searching for Vagar and just forget about Tumbleton or something. I don't know, but
how did Daron get the nickname the Daring if they didn't? Wasn't he supposed to get that from like a battle at the Honey Holt or something?
yeah,
Or
yeah.
they
Did they
never?
call him the Daring?
Yeah, they did. I think
Oh,
last episode we never
hmm.
saw it. We never saw it, dude.
I mean,
They
I would give it to his body double was more daring. I mean, he put his neck out. He put his neck out.
what
Daron,
happened to that
Daron.
guy? They set up the wall. What happened to that guy? Poor guy. What?
I guess he said to the wall. I'm just assuming. I mean, that's the best case scenario. Dungeon,
Throw throw him in the fucking black cells. Poor kid.
black cells. I mean, I'm imagining he's at the fucking wall. That's probably good. It's probably good he's at the wall.
Hold on, let me watch this preview. One second, I'll be right back.
All right, all right. Um, let's get into this. The awkward your son also calls me mommy dinner. You know, I do dig. I think Alice Rivers is just a great actress and a great character. It's of course like frustrating that her motivation has been all over the map, but her current role as trying to manipulate Aemond is much more interesting than anything she's done so far. Like before, she was weird, creepy Yoda character guiding Damon, and then she immediately shifts to something completely different, and it's a funnier role and a more wicked role, and it suits her and it suits the actor better than spiritual guide. So I do think that the shift makes no sense, but her new role is so much more interesting than what she was doing with Damon, which was just like, I don't know, trying to be creepy at the same time as being a mystical guide, which didn't necessarily fit together. But it was a funny little dinner. Somebody's comparing that, saying that it's kind of similar to Shay in that there was that dinner that Tyrion has with Sansa, and Shay is all angry and jealous at Sansa. That was one of the worst scenes of Game of Thrones, actually, because it's just like so obvious that she's upset and Sansa's oblivious, and you're just like, how are you supposed to? What scene is this? But Alicent is clear, is aware that something's weird's going on with Alice. But let's see here. Warner Brothers hires you to pen 3 movie adaptations of Robert's Rebellion, Lord of the Ring level, The Mad King, The Quiet Wolf, and The Last Dragon. What would you do? Also, fuck the police. No, this next one's fuck the So I don't think Robert's Rebellion should be like a movie. There's like way too much there. It could be, if House of the Dragon can follow the events of the Dance of the Dragons, then a series doing Robert's Rebellion, like a multi-season series doing Robert's Rebellion, would be just as successful. Or I'd have to think about like pacing and plot point times. Like, would you do like, would season 1 begin at Harrenhal and then end with Brandon and Rickard's burning, or would that happen earlier, or what? Um, but the problem is like if you're doing a movie, well, Robert's, are you taking it back to Harrenhal? Is Harrenhal part of it, right? Because considering it happens 2 years prior, when what do you fill then the other time with? How do you do it? Do you have time? Do you have flash forwards like season one of House of the Dragon, or do you just skip it and you just begin the show with like the war, and you start off with stuff in the Vale, and then move down to the Riverlands second, and then last season you somehow do the fall of King's Landing, and um
That's a lot of killing time.
well, the war is all weird. Now I'm like thinking about this. Okay, let's think this through. Breaking Robert's Rebellion up, the simple question, into a 3 act structure. So what would be good like stopping points for the for it? I guess I would go with, okay, so I'd go act 2. Let me let's do, I think I would definitely do act 2 finale be the Trident. Maybe. Or do you do Battle of the Bells? What do you do?
I was thinking Bells because it's not until the aftermath of Bells where they're like, okay, this guy Robert, okay, he's become a real problem.
Or do you do Bells? Well, let's think. um okay, so I would say your act 3, your climax is going to be what? Tower of Joy, right? And then with like epilogue Starfall, something like that. Like that's how you'd end it.
I'm sorry, but you're gonna have to end it the way the play ended it at Winterfell.
No. I wouldn't have.
Absolutely, absolutely. It like
Why? Why?
because the story of Robert's Rebellion really ultimately comes down to like what happens at Harrow. I think the play did end on a decent note by it being at Winterfell. Maybe not naming John, but
The thing with the play though is how much of a character is Ned?
oh, in the play, Ned is like he doesn't really become important until the third act. Like it's all about Lyanna, Elia,
Right.
Rhaegar,
So
Chardane.
I mean the John thing is like relevant in the sense that he's the child of Rhaegar and Lyanna, but
Do you mind
it's
if I give you mine?
okay.
So Act One would be Harrenhal. This is where all of our characters are converging, and then it ends. Act One finale ends with Rhaegar and Lyanna bouncing. This person here says they think Act One finale should be the burning of the Starks. No, because Act One finale, Rhaegar and Lyanna going off. Act Two begins with the Starks coming to King's Landing, them getting burned, yada yada, calling for the heads of Robert and Ned. Jon Arryn rebels. Ultimately, it ends. I think Act Two would probably end best with the Battle of the Bells, when it seems like the rebels now have the upper hand. Now they're becoming a problem.
So
Now
you're
this
saying
is like
act 1 you'd want to end with the kidnapping.
well, kidnapping quotes, and then Act Two, Battle of Bells. Jon Con has failed. Robert and the rebellion is stronger than ever. Then Act Three, you could argue if we're going by if the play is somewhat canon. Varys sends Gerald Hightower to go grab Rhaegar. Rhaegar goes. Triton happens. Yada yada. Ultimately, it ends with aftermath of Ned returning to King's Landing with Lyanna's body.
You
Going
do
to
you, by the
Winterfell.
way, I know you're misspeaking, but it's weird that like how often you say aftermath instead of aftermath, by the way. It's just one of these weird things that you do.
It's my
Like,
accent.
I know.
Yo, you did, by the way. I'm so glad people were calling you out for being so fucking pedantic during the Mad King shit.
No, I think they're first of all,
I'm
like
so glad. Thank you guys. Please keep
I
doing
don't
this.
think so because keep in mind that like disinterested means you're very much
Oh, what have I
interested,
done?
but you're neutral. Okay? Like while uninterested means not interested. They're opposite opinion. They're opposite meanings.
You saw that comment too, huh?
Like I
Tell
don't
me about the
understand
Destiny
when
in the
you're saying
face thing.
like oh it's being pedantic. No, they mean opposite things. Like I can't. What are you talking about? Now I know that we got a message from the guy who sent it in. That was and he's a cool guy, especially considering that he was providing all this information for us.
Shout out to Nathan.
But he was like, oh yeah, I misspoke. I misspoke. Sorry. Like that was it. Like, but there's nothing pedantic. It's not a subtle difference between disinterested and uninterested. They are
to,
opposite belief. They're
to
opposites.
the audience, like people in the comments were like, "Bro, has he always been this neurotic about shit?" Yes, yes. Little focus on this little bullshit shit. It's just how I speak. Aftermath. Whatever. Anyways,
So you're
you would have to.
saying you want epilogue, Starfall, and Winterfell, Tower of Joy that as the ending. You want Battle of the Bells.
Act two, yeah, Bells is when they start to sweat. Like, okay, this guy Robert, he's not some upstart. He's actually a real threat. Bells is when that shit gets real.
But then your season 3 is just like so much. Like you're talking Trident, you're talking Fall of King's Landing, you're talking uh, Storm's End, then you're talking Tower of Joy, then you're talking Starfall, then you're talking Winterfell. That's a
Oh, Storm's End.
lot.
That's not in the budget. That's gonna have to be off screen, like Honey Wine.
All right.
Like,
Meanwhile, your Act 2 is Battles in the Vale. The three
that battle
battles.
in the Vale is gonna have to be off screen. Robert winning 3 battles in one day. That like we can that may be like mid season. Honestly, I'm gonna be real with you.
And then you're talking about Battle of the Bells. So it's just like a lot of battles there. And then um your Act 1 though is a jousting tournament and then a kidnapping. There's not enough for Act 1. Unless you're having this Harrenhal tourney be long. And then it just doesn't fit
Well,
with the other two.
let me also be real with you here. This is like 8 episodes. Like I would make this 8 episodes right here because like
I mean the Act 2s and 3s that you have here is 8 episodes, 10 episodes at least. You know that area.
mm-hmm.
But your Act 1 of Harrenhal and the kidnapping, there's just not enough fucking shit for that. There's just not enough. And it would be thematically off. You'd be dealing with like it'd be like having season 1 is the Hedge Knight, and then like season 2 is all these battles. Like season 2 of House of the Dragon. You know, it's just like the scale is so different.
But you can't have like. By the way, I know the super chat is talking about movies. No shot. You can't do 3 movies. No like this is just. There's not enough stuff to fit like 1 movie. Like there's just. I'm sorry. There's not enough stuff here to fit more than 2 movies. No shot. No fucking shot. This has to be a 10 episode season. I can't like imagine Harrenhal taking more than like 2 to 3 episodes. I can't imagine that. I can't imagine Harrenhal being more than 3.
So it's just. Yeah, it's all a little light in our Act 1. You'd need to shove some of that into Act 1. Maybe rather than ending on the kidnapping, you're ending on the burning or something. The declaration of maybe, you know, I would say the burning maybe. Um,
Oh, actually, you know what? Maybe Act One could end with John Aaron calling the banners and defying Ares. There it is.
right. Well, after the burning, that's
After the
just
burning.
but at least you're having a little more action there. But that's still only the tourney, the kidnapping, walking into King's Landing and having the burning or something like that. But
Perfect
the
scene.
act one is very light.
Perfect scene. John Aaron gets a letter from the Mad King, and he goes, "I want the heads of Ned and Robert." And John Aaron says, he turns to his maester and says, "My king wants me to go to King's Landing, I'll go to King's Landing, but not alone. Call the banners." And the maester goes, "All of them, my lord." Original scene.
That's 60 seconds. You have to fill a whole fucking episode.
What's funny is like these guys want like to fill like several movies and seasons and shit. Like guys, you complain about the filler
this
in House
is
of the
this is but
Dragon.
this is the big thing. Like I say with House of the Dragon being like the material is structurally off. Like George R. R. Martin didn't write it in in the structure of seasons or anything. Didn't even write it with a 3 act structure or anything like that. He just wrote a bunch of shit, and they here they are trying to adapt it. Um, so it's in maybe that's the problem with all book to movie adaptations is you've got real problems because books are not really written in the 3 act structure. So fuck the police. Yeah, the real thing about police is there needs to be a real demilitarization of the police. People say defund the police. What they really mean is like stop with the whole like armored vehicles and bulletproof vests and like just completely feeling like they're all going to war. Like what happened to the friendly cop walking down the street with his billy club that says hello to the people in the community? What happened to that? Um, you know, that's the thing is there needs to be a cultural shift in who we recruit as police and how police see their role in the community and if you're arming yourself in military vehicles and semi-automatic weapons and bulletproof vests and body armor and shit, you're gonna feel like you're going to fucking war, and you're gonna feel like a soldier, and that's not what police should be.
This guy here, Peter, he says, "Yeah, but we have a Jaime Lannister Kingsguard subplot, Riverland subplot, Stannis subplot, Dorner subplot, Ashara. Too many subplots. In fact, I would argue that Ashara should not have been as big as she was in the play. That's no way. Ashara being as big as she was, I would never have Ashara be that big. I think that the 3 main characters you should probably focus on would be Lyanna, Jaime, and Rhaegar. I think that covers just about everything. Actually, you know what? Maybe Ned too. Instead of Lyanna, maybe Ned. If you have Rhaegar there for Lyanna. Yeah, the 3 main guys I would cover
The
would be
characters should be Oberyn Martell, John Connington, and Richard
absolute,
Lonmouth. Okay,
absolutely
Richard
not of any
Lonmouth.
of
First
that.
of all, the play's main character should be fucking Richard Lonmouth. Okay, Richard Lonmouth should be the center of fucking everything, as George's post proved that he should be fucking central Richard Lonmouth, and then
Because Ned covers that plot. Him trying to avoid the king's men, trying to find him, getting back to Winterfell. That covers that, and then stuff with Robert, yada yada. Jaime covers what's happening in the Red Keep with Rhaella and the Mad King, and then Rhaegar covers what's happening with Lyanna, Tower of Joy, all that stuff. Trident, yeah.
by the way, just because let's go back to something. Okay, I want you to
Real quick, let me remind if I respond to what Tornado says, not Robert. I love Robert Baratheon as a character, but he cannot hold a scene without someone there to like set him up. Like
oh
Robert
sure.
is great when you're talking to when a main character is talking to him, but holding a scene together, that's like Dave and Dan somehow struck gold with that Robert Cersei scene, but Robert cannot hold a scene for more than 5 minutes. That's a very different. Yeah.
Now let's reread this. February 19th of this year. Okay. This is how much George knew about what was going on with the script and everything. Because people are like, oh, what, how much is George's involvement? This is what George thought the play was going to be about. There's a tournament coming this summer. Lord Went is hosting it from his seat at Harrenhal, the largest castle in the Seven Kingdoms. It looks to be a grand event. Rhaegar Targaryen will be on hand, the Prince of Dragonstone and heir to the Iron Throne. The Starks are coming down from Winterfell. Eddard and his brothers Brandon and Benjen and their lovely sister Lyanna. Her betrothed will also be on hand, Robert Baratheon, the young Lord of Storm's End. Howland Reed of Greywater Watch will attend, fresh from his visit to the Isle of Faces. Was Isle of Faces mentioned in the play? John Arryn will be along.
Holy shit.
With Bronze Royce, Richard Lonmouth, the Kingsguard Knights, Jonathan Darry, Barristan Selmy, and Arthur Dane will be among the competitors, along with Robert Baratheon. Doubled up. The dashing young Lord of Storm's End. And a monstrous knight out of the Westerlands called the Mountain That Rides. The fairest of the flowers of the Seven Kingdoms will attend to cheer them on, including Ashara Dane with her laughing purple eyes. Shit. The Dornish beauty, Elia Martell, Prince Rhaegar's lady wife. Even the king will be there. Aerys too of House Targaryen, the Mad King.
You don't think he read the script, do you? You don't think he went over it? Holy shit. For those of you who haven't seen the video, John Arryn is not in the play. He's mentioned, but he's not in the play. Bronzion, not in there. Richard Lonmouth, not in there. And I don't even think Jonathan Darry gets named. There's another Kingsguard there. You might as well say it's Jonathan Darry, but he's not listed in the booklet.
Yeah.
Oh, wow. Interesting. Oh, shit.
He also very clearly thinks that the play is about the tourney, not everything else in Robert's Rebellion. Okay. It's very fucking clear.
His idea. It was his idea to have it be just Harrenhal. The original title of the play was Harrenhal. So, by the way, fun little fact about the play I just learned, Catelyn names Robb. And do you know why she names Robb Robb? After Robert. Naming him after someone who's responsible for all these deaths is what I believe the person here said. I need to go back to it, but I need to have Nathan on. He'll explain more. But Catelyn believes that Robert is one of the causes of all this death, and that's one of the reasons she names him Robb. Let me find it real quick for you.
That doesn't really make much sense, but okay.
Dude, a lot of things in this play don't make much sense.
I mean, it's like a Jewish person being like, Adolf Hitler, he caused so much death. Let me name my child him. Like, what? No, you wouldn't do that. Like, what? You don't name people when they do something bad. Like, that's not what they do. Not what you do. It's ridiculous. House Summerchild merch, none so awesome, bro. I do have some t-shirts that you can buy on my channel. They're nothing special, but there's one with the House Summerchild logo, but it's and there's a Lemongate one. It's nothing huge and fancy. I don't have like a whole shop filled with cups and glasses and hoodies and shit like that.
Right here, real quick. This is what the guy who saw the play very recently said. Kat says she will name her son after the man responsible for 1,000 babies orphaned. The person Kat is in the scene with, possibly Benjen, then says, Rhaegar? Aerys? In a surprised tone, and Kat replies, no, Robert.
That doesn't make any sense. Yeah. Doesn't make any sense. Robert didn't start the war. I mean,
damn, that's great. Very, very bad play for your favorite character. If your favorite character is a John. Jonathan Darry not in it. John Arryn not in it. John Khan not in it. Sierra 117 Master Chief, whose name is Real John, he's also not in it. No, bad day for Johns for the play. Very bad day.
Why would Kat be glazing, like be down on Robert and glazing freaking Rhaegar in this situation. Like, Rhaegar, according to Kat's beliefs, Rhaegar kidnapped Brandon's sister, and Brandon went to King's Landing to get her back and demanding her back, and was executed for wanting to get back the sister that Rhaegar kidnapped. How on earth is that Robert's? How was that Robert Baratheon's fault? What the fuck?
I, bro, I'm agreeing with you. Listen. I'm gonna get the guy who wrote the play. I'm gonna get him on the phone, and we can ask him this question. I got you. I'm working on it.
I don't know. When will the next fanfic chapter called be, and for which point of view? Any guidance for someone with no writing experience wanting to contribute? Yeah, let me I've been thinking about it. I'm just bringing up the table of contents here on what I'm going to do. Yeah, I'm torn on. I think I want to do Quentin. I think I want to do Quentin 2, the Ratcatcher. I was torn on whether I should do Victarion, Elaine, or Quentin, but I think I want to do Quentin. I've planned out that chapter a little more in my head and stuff like that. So, but advice for like writing and contributing. The thing is like if the thing is to like if you grab a random, like I actually think that like writing, like trying really hard and crafting like a couple good paragraphs is much better than writing a whole bunch, like really focusing on something. But you know, if you grab like a George R. R. Martin like paragraph, and I'll just, you know, bring up something really random. Sometime I keep telling myself I'm going to do like a video on how to write like George R. R. Martin. But all right. Here's a Storm of Swords, for example. You know, and it's like one thing to just remember with like George R. R. Martin's writing specifically. Okay. He really likes to start each of his sentences. He loves variance. He just loves everything to vary. So he likes to begin every sentence differently. And he likes to have them be different lengths. And he likes to mix things up. But despite like the sentence beginning differently each time, he likes the sentences to lead into each other in a flow. So, you know, it's like I went to this grocery store. On the shelves were candy bars. The candy bar was a Baby Ruth. Like there's a flow in that versus like I went to the grocery store. The candy bar was a Baby Ruth. Like you see how that's a jump. That's not a flow. Like there's something called known subject where like this, your subject is something that you already know, so that it doesn't seem like a jump. So when for instance here, let's just read this paragraph. When the flames were blazing nicely, Mara put the fish on. At least it's not a meat pie. So do you see how like the ending of this sentence was fish? And so you can see that it's really the subject of this next sentence, even though fish isn't even in this sentence, it's clearly the subject of it. Well, actually it is here. It's at least it's not meat pie. So the fish does appear as an it's. So, but we're still talking about food and cooking. The rat cook had cooked the sons of the Andal king in a big pie with onions and carrots, mushrooms, lots of pepper, a rasher of bacon, uh, dark red Dornish wine. So you can see like this is a really long sentence to break up this really short sentence. Then he served them to his father, because we had the wrecked cook, who praised the taste and asked for and had a second slice. Afterwards, the gods transformed the cook into a monstrous white rat who could only eat his own young. He had roamed the night fort ever since, devouring the children, but still his hunger was not sated. It was not for murder that the gods cursed him, Old Nan said, but for serving the Andal king, his son in a pie. Nor for serving the Andal king, his son in a pie. A man has the right to vengeance, but he slew a guest beneath his roof, and that the gods cannot forgive. But the interesting thing here is every sentence begins differently. When the flames, at least it's not. The rat cook. Then he served. Afterwards, the gods. He had roamed. That's pretty close. You got two he's. It was not. A man, but he slew. So, it's like you get a couple close he's, but you can see how George is like hates starting the same sentence twice. It's very different than when you read other books where you'll see a lot of people just start stuff with Harry, 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 he, she. It's very, very big. The other thing is like you can see in a paragraph, it's very rare for him to use somebody's name twice. Look here. Hodor returned alone with both arms full of deadwood and broken branches. So Hodor has been used. Jojen Reed took the flint knife and set about lighting a fire, while Mira boned the fish she'd been at the stream of when they crossed. Bran wondered how many years had passed. He wondered who had cooked it too. Nobody gets used twice. It's he does do it, but it's not often. Like here we get Hodor and then he says Hodor, but you just stick back and look at this huge paragraph here. He does use Bran twice. Bran wriggled, Bran prayed. But you can see how he doesn't do it. He doesn't like repeating himself very much. There's a big thing about George's writing. Like stepping back, you can just see here, like this whole story about Maddox. Maddox is actually named only twice in this huge paragraph. Jump somewhere else. Many ignored him, but for everyone who went out about his business, there were 10 who stopped to stare. Children squatting by fires, old women in dog carts, cave dwellers with painted faces, raiders with claws and snakes and severed heads painted on their shields, all to have a look. John saw spearwives too, their long hair streaming in the piney wind that sighed between the trees. John is doing all of this stuff, but John is rarely named, only maybe once a paragraph. See, look here, once a paragraph. Up, there's once a paragraph. It's like I say, occasionally you get two. But this is why George has so many nicknames for people. Like, it's because he doesn't like to use their name twice. So if it's Jaime chapter, he's going to be calling him the Knight a lot, as a stand-in. John kept his face still as ice. He closed his fingers as his hand. Mance was not wearing armor, but his own sword. So it's amazing when you go through and you're just like, George really doesn't like repeating himself within a paragraph. So that's the thing. It's just like to write like George, have your sentences flow into each other. Don't use proper names more than once in a paragraph. Try to start each sentence a different way, but have every subject be known. And vary it. I mean, different prepositional phrases at the beginning and stuff like this. Because you can see here, it's like Mance begins here, but not everything is going to be a he. Here he uses a quote. Then he is this all quote? This is all quote. Let's go somewhere where it's not quote. This is a lot of dialogue. He begins this with he, and then 1,000 thoughts flicker through John's head. He could have structured this sentence, John thought 1,000 thoughts. But that would be beginning the sentence in a similar like fashion as the previous one, because he already said he could carry the message back to Castle Black. So we kind of already started with subject, verb, your dude here, like John, verb, what John's doing, something too. But here he flips it around. 1,000 thoughts flickered through John's head, and then, thinking, and then Mance heard it too, switching stuff up, frowning. He went to the door. John followed, it's anyway, I spent a lot of time like obsessing over these little things about how, because once you start playing this, it becomes this like game that you start playing. Like, how am I going to restructure this sentence where I'm not beginning everything the same way and I'm only using the person's name once? You start really changing the paragraph around and what's happening in it. Why does Dreamfire look different? I mean, I don't know. I don't know if it's the same dragon that we saw in season 1. Maybe. I want to play where Rhaegar is the great other, and the warg weasel warg's weasel before he dies. Oh, am I some's okay. Something weird happened to my computer screen. That's why I'm like, what's going on there? Warg's weasel? Like, you mean the little girl from that Arya knows? That weasel? The little crying girl? The thing is, we don't know what happens to Weasel, right? Weasel could have survived. That means Rhaegar's still like around. Of course, Weasel's not born yet by the time Rhaegar dies. If he's gonna warg somebody or warg a weasel before he dies, so he has a second life as a weasel for like, weasels probably only live like 2 years. He'd have a second life for like 2 years. He could warg his horse. Horses live like 20, 25, 30 years. He could be like an old horse or something by the end if it hasn't been killed. Oh, as someone who has no memory, which dragons die when? I was quite concerned that Sheepstealer and Rhaenyra's dragon would die. So I was, certainly not Rhaenyra's dragon, but Sheepstealer survives the war and disappears off into the Vale, and we don't really know what happens or how eventually Sheepstealer dies or any of that. There's a Nettles reference this episode. You catch that, Carmine? The Nettles reference
from Jane Eyre?
Yeah. So Sheepstealer, I think in Princess of the Queen, Sheepstealer like flies off with Nettles, and then I think in the World of Ice and Fire they say that there's a cult that worships some witch where they go up and they like get ritually burned or something, and that's where the burned men come from or something like that. I would have liked to keep it ambiguous. Maybe those dragon bones outside of Karth were sheep stealer, but that's where they seem to go with it. So sheep stealer, you know, just ends up living in the Vale for the rest of his life after that with Nettles. But they could have easily killed off sheep stealer. Wouldn't have made much of a difference. Versus that ending. But it seems a little rushed that like Rhaena just mounted him and now he's dead already. But why is everyone okay with Jane hanging out with her gay lover? in if we're talking about real history, because real history, people were pretty oblivious to lesbianism and just didn't think about it. It's not like woman sex is not mentioned in the Bible at all. Like it's just not mentioned. And so you're just like, well, do they think it didn't happen, or do they just not care, or what's going on? There's a lot of different theories about it, like that the references that some people think that are to homosexuality in the Old Testament are actually just about specifically trying to ban dudes like assaulting and buggering people. So kind of like in prison, how to like there's this to like embarrass someone or to assert dominance over them. You know, someone will rape somebody in prison, right? They're not necessarily getting, you know, traditional sexual enjoyment as you would with like regular sex. They're doing it for the function of asserting dominance over somebody else, to embarrass them, and so when they start talking about this in the Old Testament, the events out there, for instance, the events at Sodom and Gomorrah, it's more that they're the people are like, we're going to go and rape you, more in a asserting dominance sense. And so there's a theory that the banning in the Old Testament is just simply that, like, no, you shouldn't go around asserting your dominance by raping people. And that, you know, regular two men having sex for enjoyment because they like each other's company is just not referenced, you know. But you know, the people are stupid and they're just like, you know, women are close. Girls are close, you know. That's fine. That's women hang out with women, bros hang out with bros. That's people can be pretty oblivious, or they just maybe just don't care. Yeah, so of course in the or it's not considered a sin because in their society, because like I say, in the Bible there's no reference to lesbianism, so it's not technically a sin, I suppose, you know.
You got so much shit for bringing up the Bible and religion during the Mad King video. Holy fuck!
I mean, no matter what you do, like religious folks are going to come out of the woodwork and be like,
holy
yeah, how
shit!
dare you? How
Someone
dare
I
you
saw.
criticize my 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 leprechaun books, my books about leprechauns. Oh no!
When people were
Like what are you
complaining about it in
fucking?
the comments, I'm like, did you even mention it? Like, I don't even remember you mentioning
That's
it, but
what
I
I
guess you
mentioned.
did.
I said something about like I said something about like you know, lesbianism not being in the Bible or something like that. It was the same. It was the same type of thing, but like somebody flipped out. But like I said, man, I have not much tolerance for religious folk. I'm sorry. Like it's just
Oh, you haven't been seeing the. I was telling you about this briefly. You haven't been seeing the. Because normally the religious folk would like hate the gay stuff, and you know for a fact that this episode is probably gonna get downvoted because remember last season the Missaria Rhaenyra kiss was like 2 seconds.
oh yeah,
It
yeah. This is like a lot
people
more.
overseas. So I mentioned how in my spoiler tease thingy, Of course, it makes the rounds on Reddit, and some random ass redditor is like, "Oh, he thinks we're all homophobic. Oh, fuck off! The storyline makes no sense. Rhaenyra and Mysaria kissing is so stupid." I mean, Mysaria is playing Rhaenyra, like she's
Yeah,
clearly playing her. Like just because you don't like it doesn't mean it doesn't make sense. Like she's clearly
right.
manipulating Rhaenyra. She's playing Rhaenyra. Like she
Well,
did it
there's a
last
lot of
season.
things that
She's
don't
doing it
make
now,
sense. Why are you going to fixate on that particular one? Like, there's things
right?
that, people say, like, Preston, why are you fixating on certain things? Like, we all fixate on certain things, and we're predisposed through our biases to fixate on certain things. But it's like, why is that the thing they're fixating on? Like, I mean, I think it's all like I don't find it very interesting. But keep in mind that, like, I grew up doing in high school and college, I did theater, so I've been around gay people like my whole life. And so, like, when shows do same-sex gay scenes, I'm just like, and they put them forward like, ooh, this is titillating. I'm just like, this isn't titillating. This is just two people making out. Like, it's not a big deal. But it's funny, like, it's not entertainment, and like, same-sex sex is not entertainment in and of itself for me. For some people it is, because some people are like, oh, it's two women's kissing, it's two men kissing. Like,
It was funny. It
who
was funny because,
cares?
of
Like,
course,
who
people start
cares?
piling on. People start piling on that one thing out of all the things I said. Specifically, as a bi man, I found the Mysaria Rhaenyra scene kind of lame.
Yeah,
As a bi woman, I agree. Like,
I love,
really?
as a black man, I love Trump. Like, like, like that's like really funny. That's like the funniest part of Borat 2 is they go to that at the end. He's like trying to develop Kazakhstan, so they have them in like an internet farm, and it's a bunch of Kazakh girls being like, as a black man, I love Trump. Like hundreds of them in this warehouse. Like, oh well. People try to use the buy thing for like cred these days. Like, who cares? Like, you're not getting any cred. Like, oh man, oh man, oh man. Um, so the Harrenhal play is the first in a collection of George's mysteries, right? The next one, Summerhall, will explain what happened to Egg. Then Shieldhall will reveal whether Torment is well hung. Oh, I mean, the success of I don't. If George were 10 years younger, I would say, yeah, maybe we'll see more plays. But I think this is it. I think this is it. Um, I think it's probably proved successful. I mean, Cursed Child proved successful, but there hasn't been another Harry Potter play, right? Um, when did Cursed Child come out? Man, it's still running. It first performed 2016. Holy shit.
Mm-hmm. Makes money.
Can't believe Cursed Child is still running 10 years. Jesus. Well, um, yeah, I mean, but at the same time, they haven't gone for a second play. So I guess they just felt Cursed Child by itself was the thing. Yeah, this makes me think
Dude,
that the Mad King might be around for a while, might be around for several years, but I don't know
I'm
if
not gonna
we.
lie. If we go this entire summer, if we get to September and he still hasn't blogged about Night of the Seven or even the Mad King play, something's wrong. Something's going down.
Well, we already know that something's wrong.
I
Come on,
mean,
it's been
I ain't, I
it's
ain't
been
saying anything.
yeah. I mean, yeah, but yeah, I don't know. I don't necessarily think there'll be another play. But this one will be around for a good 10 years. 10 years. The next spoiler we will get is the King Landing riot was a natural occurrence. What's the deal with Rhaegon's waking death vision? If Bloodraven's that powerful. Hmm. Are we talking about the king? Well, the King's Landing riot in the show here. I think they're playing it up as being like Ormond orchestrated. That Ormond has all these fucking um, characters that are out and about doing his bidding, and they're starting stuff. Um, but with Rhaegar's, yeah. So in the Mad King, what Ross is talking about is that Rhaegar has this big waking dragon vision that distracts him and allows Robert to win, even though we all had the belief that Robert was a much better fighter and physically much bigger, and that Rhaegar really wasn't that great of a fighter based on everything anybody has ever said. But for some reason, Rhaegar is actually the one that's fucking winning, and he gets a dragon vision and that allows him to get killed. And but the thing is, like, are the creators of this play thinking about people sending visions? Like, clearly in Ice and Fire, we get the idea that visions are sent. We get all these mechanisms for sending visions, whether it be a weirwood tree or a glass candle or flames. But we get this idea that somebody is sending visions. Maybe, time traveling Brand or whatever. Or Bloodraven or Quaithe, Marwyn. It's certainly implied at the end of A Dance with Dragons that Quaithe is the one that was responsible for Dany's dragon visions, dragon dreams. And it's implied that at least many, if not all, of Bran's visions come from Bloodraven, though theory-wise, we people like me say maybe it's time traveling Bran. And then we get the idea that, like, the visions being sent to Aemon on the boat are at least from a glass candle, whether it be the Sphinx or Marwyn or whatever. We don't know who would be sending fire visions or to the House of the Undying and things like that. But nonetheless, we get this idea that visions are sent. And even if you go back to Dunk and Egg time, at least with regards to the Mystery Knight, you kind of get the idea that Daemon II's visions are getting sent by Bloodraven. We don't have any idea who would be sending the visions in the Hedge Knight. Perhaps retroactively, you could claim it's Bloodraven who's trying to orchestrate putting Egg on the throne. Probably when George wrote it, he didn't know, but nonetheless. But if I would really say, like, do the writers of the Mad King, are they thinking about dream senders, or are they just creating visions and for the sake of visions, prophecy for the sake of prophecy? See, at least in House of the Dragon, they fully recognize, like, they threw in fucking Bloodraven, like they threw in him. So somehow Bloodraven's vision, like Bloodraven is part of it, at least in House of the Dragon. But I don't know if I have faith that the people that wrote Mad King are thinking about Bloodraven or time traveling Bran or vision sending. Like, they're probably just having visions for the sake of visions. Because what would be Bloodraven's motivation in killing off Rhaegar? To promote Dany? To eventually get to the point where Dany is promoted? I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. Carmine, thoughts, ideas that Rhaegar must die for Dany to continue to get those dragons.
Rhaegar must die for Dany to continue. What?
Why would a dream sender kill Rhaegar?
Oh, is it one of those things where like they know the future and therefore in order for this future to happen, this person has to die or whatever? Is it something like
Right,
that?
right. It, you know, they purposely do it for, but then it's like how did Rayla's curse get in there? Did a dream sender send that idea to Rayla? Like it just seems like they're doing prophecy for the sake of prophecy, that even a character like Rayla can just like create a curse in and of itself. Um, yeah, I don't think the Mad King writers are thinking about dream senders and master planners and time travel and all the other things that even House of the Dragon is thinking about. Like,
I know you had a big rant about like canonicity and how it doesn't really matter that much, but I think in this case you should be probably happy that it doesn't it does matter in the sense where even Elia was like, yeah, some of the stuff is canon, but a lot of it isn't, and I think this is one of those things where it isn't. So I think you can rest easy that this
mm,
curse thing is probably not George's plan, and they probably
or
put it in there.
well, this or Rhaegar getting a dragon dream that causes him to die.
It's
Um,
probably in there for dramatic effect.
yeah,
Which, by the way, according to some people who recently went, the dragon puppet, the large dragon puppet, fucked up, and they had to
yeah,
spend like 45 minutes
that's
untangling
weird.
it. So,
45 minutes. That just like stops the whole play.
yeah.
Uh, why on earth is everyone praising this episode on X? 2 out of 10. Worst thing ever made related to Westeros. Worse than season 8. Oof. That is. First of all, why are you on X? Like, what the fuck is wrong with you?
Oh boy, here we go.
All right. Like, I mean, Elon Musk murdered like a million people. Like, he killed a million people. Like, it's disgusting. He caused
Single-handedly.
famine in Gaza. Okay. It's his fault. He shut down USAID. He caused famine in Gaza. He killed a million people in Africa. Like, this is his fucking like you're on X. Like, I'm just putting that out there. You're on X. Who cares? Who fucking cares about X? It's because X is bots. It's true. Um, bots run bots run by Nazis. But I don't know. I mean, I certainly wouldn't say it's the best episode or the worst episode. I just was kind of like, it's kind of this par for the course. It's just like episode 3 and 4 and 5 and 6, right? They kind of all flow together. They're very equal in quality. I mean, there might be a lot more jetpacking in this episode, but there's been some jetpacking. But this might have the most jetpacking. Though John
In
Roxton was in the
Damon's
last episode.
defense, in
Yeah.
Damon's defense, going all over the place, he at least he has a dragon, which
At
is
least
the
he has a
closest thing to a
dragon.
jet.
No, I'm talking John Roxton and Alicent and stuff like that. Like John Roxton and Alicent is like the crazy stuff. Um, I don't, if you've got a dragon, fine. I'll let it be. I have no idea how many days have passed, but John Roxton, man, I don't know what he's up to. That's just Vision is pointless. At least I hope he got a good one. Oh, for Rhaegar, yeah. I mean, I guess. Well, we saw the dragon, right? Or this the vision for there, a lot of visions. Like was Helena's vision useful at all, or is it just something to fill to make something flashy? Carmine, do you think there was a contradiction with Helena and like how much she knows?
Absolutely. Like it seems like she had Bran like powers at the end that in at the season 2 finale, and now they're just dreams. They're just dreams that are not really that clear.
But we
So
also
what
don't know
is
if she's
it?
just lying to Rhaenyra.
Sure.
because she's sitting there also like quilting the whole fucking like story right there. She knows everybody's gonna fucking die. So I don't know why she wants to have a kid and any of that. Um, Maybe she somehow thinks her child will escape. They did show her giving birth to Maegor this episode.
It was a vision, but maybe she wants to like. I don't know. We'll see what happens. Episode 8. The verdict is still out. I was talking about like how, like, George's toxic butterflies,
Mm.
as you remember, was about like, it was about a bunch of stuff. He could have said a bunch of other things, but the thing he chose to focus on was Helena and Maelor. Okay, fine. He said that Helena was going to kill herself for no reason. When I watched this episode a couple days ago, I was like, I can kind of see there being a reason. Like, she's being abused. The dreams and
The
visions are
dreams are
really
getting
fucking with
worse.
her.
It's heading. It's
They're
heading.
getting
Yeah,
worse. They're
yeah.
taking a toll. Like, unless maybe George complaining caused Condal to course correct. But the verdict is still out. When I see episode 8 on Tuesday, I'll let you know, Preston, privately, like, if
I
George's
mean,
toxic butterflies are justified. But so far,
frankly, like
they're not.
had. I mean, honestly speaking, even without Maegor, because they're clearly putting Maegor in as like the course correction, but even without Maegor, yeah, I think they totally fucking set up enough for
Preston,
Helena,
I
for
didn't want
Helena.
to say anything, but
Yeah.
it's not Maegor, it's Maelor. Like,
Haha, you got me. You're right.
I'm,
Aftermath, aftermath, Maegor, Maelor. You're right.
ah,
Fucking, you
ah.
got me. You got me.
Same Targaryen, whatever. But
You
no,
got me. Yeah.
we'll see until episode 8 if his toxic butterfly shit was justified for Helena's stuff. Maybe Condal course corrected, maybe not. We'll see what
Right.
happens. We will
But
see.
even without Maelor, like it seems like Helena has every reason to do that. Especially all the pressure and like you could just have the visions be getting worse, have her seeing a whole bunch of blood. Like the thing is with her, you could have her kill herself at any time. You just have her see a really fucking bad vision and have her jump out the window, having seen a really scary vision. That's all you need to do. You don't need to do anything. Like it's just like that's it. I mean, Tommen jumped out a window after watching the sept blow up. So why couldn't Helena see something very similar and then just be like fuck and then jump out the window? It's fine. Whatever. When is Laenor going to show up? He's going to show up when Harold Westerling shows up.
Oh shit, I forgot about that guy. Holy fuck. He literally said, Harold Westerling said, I'll be back once you guys sort this whole like ruler thing out. And then he just dipped. Nobody knows where he is. He's just gone. Okay.
It's funny if it's just in the last episode, they crown Aegon the third king, and he's just like, all right, I'm back, guys. And they're like, where have you fucking been? He's got a good tan. He's like, I've been down in Dorne on vacation, drinking pina coladas by the pool, by the water gardens.
To what Kyle said here, Kyle said, if Condal changes the story enough, then toxic butterflies don't apply. Maybe Helena just survives the show. I don't know. We see Alan in the next episode preview leading a coffin, leading a funeral procession. I don't know. That could be Helena in there. Could also be Corlys in there. We don't really know. But Helena surviving the story would be fucking hilarious. Him doing that to like spite George would be fucking hilarious. Please, Condal, please.
Yeah.
Best season ever if you do that. If you keep Helena alive throughout. Best season ever.
Am I weird for thinking the leaked version of Aegon's speech better than what was on screen, shouting at soldiers into a void, then surprise Sunfire revealed? Seems way more interesting than barely being able to hear it over stomping. I'm sorry. I guess I didn't see the leaked Aegon speech before. Compared to this, I didn't really get too much out of the Aegon thing. Like, I suppose I'm spoiled by the material as well, though. It's like, I know he's going to find the dragon at some point, and it's like, okay, it's one of these things that you kind of know is just gonna come out of nowhere to save him at some point. So this was it, like, oh, there's an army. How is he gonna get out of this one? Well, you know that the dragon's in the pocket. You know it was coming. So, yeah. So that was that. I liked the scene and that the dragon looked kind of cool, but these weird. It's weird that the entire history of the Aegon character in the show is him being pathetic and having to, um, do something humiliating, or him being like going on a glorious, yeah, kind of thing. I realize, fuck, he's the exact same character as, the older brother in Entourage. Fuck. You know what I'm talking about, Carmine?
I've never seen Entourage. I'm sorry.
Oh, really? So in Entourage, one kind of funny aspect of Entourage, and I'm not complimenting the show because Entourage kind of sucks, but the main the plot of Entourage is there's this movie star, and he surrounds himself with three of his best friends. And so one friend he's made his manager, one friend he's made his driver, and then one friend, his brother, his older brother, he's made his cook. And the four of them like go and have adventures, and for the most part it's wish fulfillment show. All the characters get everything they want every episode. It's just they have sex with beautiful models and go to cool parties and get incredible roles. It's like, like for a moment they think they're not going to get a movie with Scorsese, and then they get the movie with Scorsese. Oh, it's like that kind of shit. And so, but what's kind of funny is that the older brother is played by Chris Dillon, who is Matt Dillon's older brother. And so, hello.
Hello, sorry if it's late to call in.
No. I didn't know if you called in because you're like, oh, they're talking about Entourage.
Oh, Entourage, a show I've never seen.
You neither. Okay. Well, so here, let me put a.
I just finished the episode, so I was a little late.
Okay, no problem. we for the most part, we were just saying that the episode kind of feels like the last episodes 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. They all kind of run into each other. They're all similar quality.
Just nothing.
So the one clever thing about Entourage, like I said, Entourage is a pretty shitty show, but the one clever thing about it is that the main character is a movie star, and his older brother is also an actor, but like a C-list actor, like way down. And so it's kind of funny because they've cast Chris Dillon, who is Matt Dillon's C-list brother. So like Matt Dillon is like, was a movie star, while Chris Dillon is just like a nobody, right? And so like that's what's kind of funny. And he's the best character in the show because he's just this doofus where like every episode something incredibly embarrassing happens to him, or they occasionally throw him a bone, and he has an episode where he like something victorious happens, like he hooks up with some beautiful girl, or he actually lands a role for once. And so they do throw him these bones, and every time he gets like something good, he raises his fist in the air and he's like, victory, because he used to be on this stupid show that's supposed to be Hercules, but the legend continues, but it's a Viking show, and he would always go victory on the show. So he just like remembers this old like show line. And so I feel like Aegon this season is Bravo from Entourage, where it's just, he's either doing something where he's just getting embarrassed, having his dick burned off, like kissing shitty feet, like having to kneel for Rhaenyra, or he's got a victory moment where he's like, victory, you know, at these like times. He gets to finally kill that guy. He gets to finally flame
Right.
out an army. And it's like one or the other. Like that's it. He's just Bravo. Anyway, it's too bad you guys have never seen Entourage. Because it's I mean, not in the sense that you should see it, because it's not good, but it's just
Preston, it's too bad you've never seen JoJo. Tell him, Trey.
Well, what about JoJo? What about JoJo that's related to this?
I was like, I've seen JoJo Rabbit.
No. He
JoJo
goes,
Rabbit.
Same you guys never seen it. He goes, same you guys never seen Entourage. Same you never seen JoJo's Bizarre Adventure. It's a great show.
It's true.
Yeah, exactly. I get my references. I can make these esoteric references, these obscure references to an anime.
It's you, Dio.
It's me, Dio. Like, you know, all these like, oh my god. Oh, they really got the jetpack going this season.
Oh
huh?
yeah.
Like, it was funny. I was texting Carmine during like I was watching the episode. I was like, oh, they faked me out there with like the hallucination Alice Rivers. I was like, oh, thank goodness, because it's like you're right. That doesn't make any sense.
And then she shows up right after,
2 seconds
and you're like, no.
you're like, fuck, no. I thought you were clever. Like, you know, I thought it would be a clever subversion. You know, I thought the show was stupid and they're smarter than I thought. And then it's like, nope, they're just stupid. They're just stupid. Because same with Bowl Cut Man. Like Bowl Cut Man and Corlys are back too, just like that. They go back. They go past King's Landing. You know, they're totally.
And yet,
totally
Oscar Tully has not made it to Templeton yet. Like, even though we know his army can move really fast. We know they have access to jetpacks, and yet, like, this one fucking like march is just taking forever.
I also, oh my god, I texted Carmine and I was like, oh my god, they're not doing the dragon pit. I was like, they're just gonna cut the dragon pit out entirely, because I thought Cyrax was gonna get killed. And that would be like their explanation to kill off Cyrax with Sheepstealer. But it seems like nobody got killed. It seems like nobody got killed in that battle. It was a useless fight.
That was a pretty weak scene, you know, where it's just like, even the dragons have plot armor at this point, you know.
I thought something was going to happen, but you know, nope. This is the season where nothing happens. Like, it is crazy how far we've gotten into this season and not much has happened. It is. Right.
I think it might be, my explanation was they originally thought they were going to have 3 seasons, and now they've been gifted 4. And so they're like, let's just not change the scripts. Let's just like
God.
Like, we know it's going to be a reduced season. Like, they had 3 10-episode seasons. Here's my theory. They had 3 10-episode seasons, like, roughly planned in their mind. And then they were like, okay, you got to cut season 2 down to 8 episodes, but we're going to give you a 4th season. Because I remember those 2 decisions happened around the same time. And so they're like, okay. So we take the 2 from season 2, put it at the beginning. All right. And then season 3 will be 8 episodes. So we just take the first 2 episodes of season 3 and then stretch it out into 6 episodes, and then keep the last 8 the same. You know what I'm saying? You see what I'm saying?
Yeah. I see what you're saying.
So they're taking the content of 2 episodes and stretching it out to 6 episodes. And then and then season 4 will be fast paced again.
That's crazy. That's crazy. Because I guess that we thought that you thought the penultimate episode, like, or the end episode would end with the dragon pit, with storming the dragon pit.
Oh,
That's
just not, I did too.
Yeah, not happening.
It's just gonna end in Tumbleton.
We're getting first Tumbleton. That's it, right?
Right. We'll see. Maybe they'll just combine the Tumbletons. I don't know. Maybe it'll be first or second. I mean, I don't know what they'll do, but maybe it'll be first Tumbleton.
We'll kill off Gwaine, right? We'll kill off Gwaine. I'm thinking who's gonna be killed off. Who could they kill off? I guess that would be a smart decision to combine the Tumbletons to at least something, you know. Because
let's see here.
They didn't pull your thing where you thought that they were going to subvert our expectations. Like Hugh
I
Hammer
did. I thought they were going to
was
subvert our
gonna.
expectations, that this was far too much foreshadowing of Ulf, and instead switch it to Hugh. But no, they just went with Ulf.
That would be genius, That'd be genius to have it switch to Hugh last second. Like that'd be a great twist, The guy
So
that you least expect, the guy you least expect to turn is the one that turns. Be good.
so at first Tumbleton, Ormond dies, but Ormond is
Okay.
such a good character that do you really think they're going to waste his death?
Nah.
And Roddy dies too.
Who? Okay, Roddy's gonna die because who cares about that guy? Who cares about him? But like, Ormond, because like, who's there to fight after Ormond besides like Aemon? And Aemon's doing Jack,
I mean, they could just have John Roxton suddenly like take over.
John Roxton, the final boss of the Dance of the Dragons, this guy that just sits in the background.
I mean, you think about what they did with the Golden Company, John Connington.
That's true.
And the Golden Company and how anticlimactic that was.
Because like, yeah, who's there? Who's left for? Who's got power besides Ormond? Like nobody has power. Like, right? Cole's dead. Alicent is killing her own kids, and totally fine with it. Like, yeah. John Roxton being the final boss is crazy.
Someone's screaming outside.
I hear that. Oh my god.
At first I was like, is that somebody yelling for their dog? But no, it's like,
Sounds like a guy yelling for help.
he's just yelling fuck and going, ah.
That's
He probably
crazy.
saw the episode, didn't like it.
He walked on. I don't know.
Oh, that's weird. That's eerie right there. Oh my god.
All right.
Like, what do you do after that? Shoot.
Oh man.
Damn, George really didn't like the episode. Fuck.
I know. I mean,
Yeah. What? Yeah.
Like,
Oh, no, you go.
We used to laugh about the gecko, right? But like here, it's like back in DC. I'm like, what do I get? I get crazy guy walking, like running down the road. I wish Hot D was okay with making everyone villains. So the thing is based on what they've done, everyone is a fucking villain. But the show won't commit to them being villains.
Right.
Like we're supposed to somehow feel for them. Like when Damon is sitting there being like, I need to protect my daughter. Am I supposed to fucking like forget the fact, like all the people he's murdered? Like who am I supposed to suddenly like care? Like he's a horrible person.
The innocent sheep herder that he fucking killed and lied to
Right.
Rhaenyra.
Who put the head?
Nobody gives a shit about that. Nobody gives a shit. Not even Rhaenyra gives a shit about that.
I would have been like, whose head is that? Well, I guess Mysaria did ask, whose head is that? But like Rando Shepherd.
Crazy week for lesbianism in A Song of Ice and Fire. We got a lot of lesbians going on here,
I do think it's like, so I had this discussion earlier because like for me, I don't find it gay romance on screen to be entertaining in and of itself, because it's like any other romance to me. I'm just like, okay, it's two people like making out on screen that happen to be women, like, and like, but like some people think like that's enough. Like, whoa, we're gonna have this scene with two women making out on screen, and then you don't have to like go beyond that. You're just like, well, yeah. Like, I remember there's like like there was a plot of Desperate Housewives. This is because different era, right? Desperate Housewives.
Mm.
Like there was a whole plot where like one of the daughters like sons decides he's like bisexual, and that was like the whole plot. And she's like sitting down with him. And she's like, "What? Do you like men?" And he's like, I think of it as like ice cream. Sometimes I like vanilla. Sometimes I like chocolate. And you're like, you've somehow stretched this out to several episodes. Like I don't understand. Like there's nothing to this. It's just like, yeah, he's bisexual. So what? Like, how is this a plot? But it's kind of the same with like Mysaria. Like, what's the big deal other than the fact that she's like cheating on her husband? That's it. And that I suppose
Right.
Mysaria is on the council. She can manipulate her or something. But it's definitely like they're definitely like thinking like, oh yeah, the audience is gonna love this. Lesbians,
This is scandalous right here. Yeah,
right.
yeah.
This is like Howard Stern show in the 90s. Like, oh, Baba Booey, let's talk about lesbians,
Where they have what's her name? Lady Aaron. They just have her like lady there and just gets up and leaves. Like there was really no point. Like will that matter later? Probably not.
No, we were saying
Probably
that
not
was
gonna
Ryan
matter.
Condal. That was Ryan Condal flexing. That was him being like, I read
With the lore.
I read
I read the lore.
I read it. I read it, guys.
Guys, I mentioned Fair Market in the episode. I read the lore.
Hi, hey Preston. Have you read Asimov's Guide to the Bible? Loved Mark episode with Trey. Any thoughts on Neuromancer?
Oh,
not a fan.
I've heard of Asimov's like Bible, like that he talks about. What does he talk about? He says something about the Tower of Babel, in it that I heard like years and years ago, and I don't know if I agreed with it. Like I don't know. I forgot his opinion. Like you get this sometimes. Like Sigmund Freud had like a commentary on like Moses, that like the historical Moses was like a priest of Akhenaten and stuff. You have like these people from other fields thinking that they can like jump in, and they kind of just give like half-assed theories. They're like, no, you're not an archaeologist, you're not a historian. Like let's not merge these a little bit. Like let me see.
There definitely wasn't historical Moses. That's ridiculous.
Where he was like, he's a priest of like the monotheist Akhenaten, like the monotheistic pharaoh, but like there's not like that's so much of a stretch. The timeline doesn't work.
Doesn't work. So the big thing is with any of that is like Hebrew as a language does not appear until the Bronze Age collapse and the recession of like the Egyptian kingdom and the Egypt getting out of Canaan. So like
right
now there's the theory about like why the Exodus story came about is that some people saw similarities between Semitic languages and Egyptian, and so they wanted some sort of like origin story of where like they both came from. And it's like, well, probably they came from the fact that Egypt used to fucking rule over Canaan, but like instead they're like, but how did our languages end up so similar? So they like invented this story of like, the Jews being slaves and the Exodus and coming out and having this whole thing happening. But it's considering that like the first 5 books of the Bible are supposed to be written by Moses, but the first 5 books of the Bible were written in Hebrew. They couldn't have been written by Moses because Hebrew didn't exist as a language and yet, so they're clearly written hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of years after when they were supposed to happen. So it's
and there's many details in like the Exodus that show that like the world that they describe as a very post Bronze Age collapse, like it's an Iron Age world. Like for
Right, I was
instance,
talking
like
about
the
they're
thing that
talking
I
about
bring up.
camels and like when camels were introduced into the area and there weren't
Yes.
camels
Yeah.
yet
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
shit like that. Yeah.
There, the Exodus mentions like the reason the Jews avoid the coast, they go to the sign like down in the Sinai, is because of Philistines, and Philistines didn't exist yet.
Until
They're
yeah, because
descended
they came
until
from
the sea
the
peoples.
sea peoples. Yeah.
So like you're like, yeah, you're
Yeah,
placing
they
this
list
in the
all
Iron
sorts of
Age.
different peoples that didn't exist at that time, but only existed hundreds of years later. Yeah.
Yeah. So I'm looking at Isaac Asimov. Isaac Asimov speculated the authors of Genesis 11 were inspired by the existence of apparently incomplete ziggurat at Babylon, and by the phonological similarity between Babylonian meaning gate of God and Hebrew Bala meaning mixed and confused. See, I like read this years ago. I was like, like I don't know. Like it's hard to prove this stuff. Like a lot of the stuff, it's hard to like prove. And I don't know if I trust him. I don't think he's like a linguist. I don't
Yeah,
know
that's
if
the problem, is that to really have any worth in the field, you have to study Greek and Hebrew and know them, and Aramaic and know them really, really, really fucking well.
yeah.
You
And
know,
he's talking about like Babylonian. He's like, I also know like cuneiform Babylonian or
yeah,
Akkadian. And you're like, I don't think he is. I don't think he ever learned how to read that or anything
right.
like that. So I don't
Because
know if he
there's all
is.
these things like, when people when these scholars talk and they're like, oh well, that that translation is crap because they translated this and this into the pluperfect whatever in Hebrew, and I'm like, well, I don't know, it's like I'm so far, I don't know any Hebrew, but even if I knew some Hebrew, I wouldn't know about like the pluperfect tense of ancient Hebrew in this context, and you just,
Yeah.
they're going, it's in a different realm. They've studied this for many, 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 many years. They put in their 10,000 hours, whatever. Isaac Asimov clearly has not. Like it's
I'm interested to see what else he has to say in this. But yeah, I'll have to read it some other time. I've never actually read it. I've just seen people mention some of his stuff sometimes. The book is written for a layperson without the expectation the reader would have much knowledge about ancient history. Okay, okay. I'm like, I'm expecting this to not be super great, but we'll see. Has been
yeah,
yeah. The guide has been subject to scholarly criticism, saying the book is not an academic work and it overlooked advances in contemporary biblical archaeology. Yeah, it sounds like this is not to say the book is without value. There are those who find it useful. So it probably has some good stuff, but it sounds like some of it's not the
yeah.
best. Oh, I'll have to check it
I
out.
remember reading some like Isaac Asimov released some like book of like mind blowing facts or something, and I remember like opening it up, and the first thing I read was there are more people alive today than have ever died, and I'm just like, that can't be right, and
Where's the
I
cutoff?
can't believe Isaac Asimov would believe that, and later I looked something up, and they're like, no, it's probably around 150 million people have died, or 150 billion people have died, and there's 8 billion people alive, or when he wrote it, it was 3 billion people alive. Like so. Isaac Asimov, genius, obviously genius, um, but he's a genius in his lane.
Right.
Um, I mean, Isaac Asimov, laid the foundation for almost all science fiction today. So it's just like everything we're doing in science fiction is just on his coattails. I accept that. I accept he's a genius,
Hmm.
but he's in his lane. But nonetheless, um, anyway, Trey and I have promised that we will be back with more Mark in the future. It's very, very difficult right now. Um, but yeah, I don't know anything about the Neuromancer teaser. And Carmine, you loved Foundation though, right?
Season 2 is amazing. I love season 2. Season 3 was okay. I
Okay.
feel like you would like it too, but when do you got the time, dude?
Yeah, yeah, I know. I didn't even finish Spider Noir, so
Oh,
and
that's
it's like
true.
I was really liking it too, but it's just like, nah, I don't have time. I mean, sometime I have to watch. I probably have to sit down with my wife and watch Devil Wears Prada too. We don't even have time for that. I think that just came out. Seriously, do we live in a world where only George R. R. Martin, A Song of Ice and Fire closure will come through tertiary properties like the Mad King? Yes. Yes, that is where our world is. I'm sorry.
Yeah, unfortunately.
Because, no, Carmine brought up earlier that George it's been a very long time since he posted. And he didn't post anything about Night of the Seven Kingdoms. He hasn't posted anything about House of the Dragon. He hasn't posted anything about Mad King. And earlier I brought up his original February post on the Mad King and how like it's hilarious because it has nothing to do with like the play that was posted. Like he's like, the Mad King is coming, and you know who's gonna be there? Harrenhal, John Aaron, and Richard Lawnmouth. And you're like, what? Like, no, not like one. The play isn't even about just Harrenhal, but like, no, they're not.
You know what I'm thinking? I think George is checked out to the point where it's in his contract that he has to kind of do some promotion for it. And he did the bare minimum, which was blog about it. And he thought it was originally just going to be Harrenhal. He didn't realize they added more shit to it. And there it is.
I mean, he didn't even bother proofread his writing because considering he mentioned Robert twice, but.
Well, not only that, though, but like that blog post did contain some new information, like the Hound being there. Not the Hound, I'm sorry. The Mountain being there. Like, okay, interesting. Okay, what else you got? That was it. All right. It is what it is.
Yeah, Redfort just standing there, not immediately trying to stab Aemon was baffling. No other backup sword guys. That was a bit like, I don't know what he was. Maybe he thought so. Impossibly and illogically, like Aemon is supposed to be this incredible swordsman, which, sorry guys, with one eye, not going to happen. But but nonetheless, establishing that he's this incredible swordsman, I guess the idea he's looking for a good opportunity when his back is turned to pull out a dagger or something. But he should have. It was pretty bad. Rhaenyra doesn't know that Aemon is injured. So Redfort probably, might have had a good chance had he known that Aemon was injured. But I guess you can just chalk it up to like, he thought there was going to be a better opportunity later than just then and there.
Also, there's some bullshit because Alicent went there with more than just Adrian Redfort. She went there with like 2 other guys too. There's supposed to be 3 with her on the road. No way she traveled the road alone with just Adrian Redfort. You go back to episode 6, and there's other men there with her.
She was gonna walk back alone too. She was gonna walk back just in her street clothes. Oh my god! Yeah. I also thought those guys are not going to show up. I also thought it was weird that nobody tried to steal Aemon and Aegon and Lannister and what's his name, horses. When all those people are fleeing, all those refugees, even soldiers, right? Like everybody's walking right by. Nobody's like, I'm going to steal that guy's horse.
It's funny that you say that, Trey. It reminds me of that movie, War of the Worlds with Tom Cruise, where
they steal the car. Yeah,
the people like are walking and they're driving through, and the people try to steal the car. Yeah, you're right.
Right.
I'm surprised no one tried to do that.
Mm-hmm. But yeah, I don't know. Yeah, these other 2 guys just got raptured or something.
Raptured.
I don't think we learned anything from the play. It's show continuity and more inclined to think George hadn't thought of it beyond Mira's fable, etc. I mean, I think much like the show, it's you can say, okay, the last few seasons of Game of Thrones like varied quite a bit from the book, but like the plot points that like most of the fan community had already suspected was true, they're just going to like now believe it even more. So they're just gonna, like with R plus L equals J, they're just like, well, the show had it, so that's another piece of evidence that, and the fandom was, 95, 99% there. So they're just gonna like take it. I think with like Night of the Laughing Tree is the main thing, right? That like the fandom was like 90% thinking, 95% thinking that it was Lyanna, and the show had it be Lyanna. And even though and again, I accept that like George seeded that with Elia Sand and all sorts of stuff, but I still say it's the dumbest fucking idea. Some people still try to fight me on it. They're like, it's not that dumb. Like, a lance is only like 10 pounds. And it's just like, no, it's like why don't you think a girl can do what a guy can do? And it's like, it's not that. It's the fact that like, she's unpracticed.
She's never done it before. She's literally never done it before.
Yeah. Imagine like you sitting down at a piano, and being like, well, like being, it's, and say you fundamentally, you know how a piano works, but you've never played a piano before. And then Joe over there has been taking piano lessons for 4 or 5 years. Who do you think is going to play the piano better? And say you coincidentally somehow just fucking beat that first guy at piano. You think you're going to beat guy number 2 at piano and then guy number 3 at piano? Like, you could take anything like basketball. Like, okay, I've never played basketball before. And this guy's been practicing. He's been taking lessons for 5 years with a coach. And you're just going to go in there and like beat 3 of them in a row at one-on-one, like any skill, like honestly, any skill. And,
I think what Preston is trying to say is he can believe that this young girl knows how to ride horses. He can even believe that this highborn girl can afford armor. What is kind of crazy is that she's going up against men who have gone in tourneys before, and this is her first time, and she beat several of
knights. Them. She's going up against knights. Someone somewhere vouched for their skills at arm, and we're like, these guys are good. And did the 3 the 3 things.
Like someone here says, like even her training in secret. Even if she trained in secret, she's still at the end of the day a 14-year-old girl who's like not that tall, or she's not Brienne. Let's put it that way. Like if Lyanna was as tall and strong and brawny as Brienne, sure, but Lyanna is not Brienne. Lyanna is not. Yeah,
I mean, in A Dance with Dragons, they established that like the Sunderland brothers have had destriers and armor and everything imported to the sisters to practice so that they could like participate in a tourney and stuff, like she's not doing that. I don't care if you're able to warg horses and whatever. Like it's just, you've never done it before, and you're beating 3 people in a row. Like real quick.
To what Ross is saying here about it being show continuity, I don't know. I spoke we spoke about this maybe. Well, before you say that, we spoke about this, I think last stream or the stream before that. But remember, someone went to the gift shop and they spoke to one of the people at the gift shop, and the gift shop person said HBO would not give them permission to use official Game of Thrones merchandise. So, and I showed you the picture. It's just generic like stag, dragon, and direwolf, like generic. It does not have the Game of Thrones logo on it. So if HBO is washing its hands of it and doesn't want the Game of Thrones logo to be used, is it really show continuity? I don't know. I don't think so.
I'm trying to think of something off the top of my head that contradicts the show that would prove more a book continuity. If anything, it would be like something happening at the Tower of Joy. At the Tower of Joy, Howland Reed doesn't play dead. Brother. The Tower of Joy, he doesn't play dead in the show.
Yes, he does. Yes, he gets cut and he's down for most of it, and then he comes up. The one thing that would at the Tower of Joy, you're correct. everything happens exactly like it does in the show, except Gerald Hightower is not. Well, Arthur Dane is there, but the other Kingsguard is either Hightower or Wentz. I think it's Hightower, since the helmet, he didn't have a helmet on, or did he? I don't remember. He
Oh,
didn't have
so
a bat on it, so
in the show, there's only 2 Kingsguard at the Tower of Joy.
in the play there's 3.
In the play, there's 3.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I will
do you
say
need me
that
to send you this picture again?
the White Book has 3 at the Tower of Joy, but then they only did 2 when you actually get there. But
if you want to bring, I just sent you the picture again. If you want to bring up the picture on stream of what I'm talking about the gift shop stuff.
Yeah. Okay. So, I mean, the fact that there are 3 people at the Tower of Joy makes it seem like it's not show continuity. Yeah, you were saying this stuff.
So if it was, the play is called Game of Thrones, The Mad King. I guess they're going by Game of Thrones, the book, because the series is called A Song of Ice and Fire. But A Game of Thrones is the name of the first book. So it's a Game of Thrones, The Mad King, based off the book, I guess, not the show, because otherwise, why not merchandise? I don't know. That's just what I'm going with.
Mm-mm. Does Ned go through the sisters in the play? Do they mention? No.
In fact, the Battle of the Bells and any other battle, the one Robert won in 3 in one day, that stuff is mentioned in like a 3-second like interlude monologue thing, whatever. Yeah. The play is clearly focused until Act 3. The play is very much focused on Lyanna, Elia, Ashara, and Rhaegar, and the Mad King every now and then. That's it.
Do you think Biter from the main series may have originated in the King's Landing child fighting pits? So here's the thing with Rorg and Biter. It's true that on stage somebody kind of asked, "Hey George, what's the background of like Rorg and Biter?" And George kind of like on the spot said like, "Oh, maybe that like Rorg was running a fighting pit and like Biter was in this fighting pit." And then later on, I think in Fire and Blood, they kind of established that people in fighting pits have like filed teeth, much like Biter. However, I don't know. I think that George's original intention with them was that they were faceless men or faceless men's servants when we first meet them. Keep in mind that they are subservient to Jaqen H'ghar, and they fear him and they do what he says, and the saving of their life seems to be something that Jaqen cares about and catalogs in the 3 deaths that he gives Arya. Now, granted, the events with Jaqen H'ghar in Book 2 in A Clash of Kings kind of end up contradicting everything that we find out about the House of Black and White like later on, and they just don't seem to jibe, and there's not much explanation. Maybe George's just writing shit on the fly and is not really thinking about it, and it's just there's no big plan. I mean, I thought it's very interesting that like Biter is white and Rorg is black, like, and she goes to the House of Black and White, but I don't know if like that's also just chance, making one character white and one character black is a pretty common sort of thing you do to make them like, be visually distinct. So I mean, so like, do I think that Biter is from the King's Landing fighting pits? I think that George had a lot of different ideas, maybe, or none at all, and was just writing shit. Like, I think it fits really well that they're actually faceless men. When Brienne fights Biter, his face is all like weird, and it seems like it's putty and odd. And you're like, but then again, maybe George is just writing creepy characters, and creepy characters are just creepy. Um, like if it were in a Stephen King book, you wouldn't think about it. You're just like, yeah, Stephen King was just coming up with that on the fly and wasn't fucking thinking. Like, why does this
Right.
character have putty skin? Well, they just fucking do. Okay, you know, um, like like I remember side thing, but I remember reading like Wolves of Kala, and there's this one scene where this like bird head guy is like talking to one other character who has a bunch of like zits on his face, and he like pops one of the zits, and the bird character is like, oh, and then like wants to eat it, and he eats it, and it's like, why does this bird character want to eat pus? Is that any explanation to any of that at all? No, it's just there to be creepy. Like there's nothing. It has nothing to do with anything at all ever. Nothing to do with like many worlds or fucking Walter or the or Flag or any of this shit. It's just a bird man who wants to eat some pus, and it doesn't fucking matter. So I think it makes more sense that they are faceless men. Like they were in the black cells for some reason. You wouldn't put pit fighter guys in the black cells. You'd hang them. There's no reason for them to be in the black cells. There's no reason to think that these guys should be on the wall, that they'd be useful at all. Could you imagine if they gotten the wall and you just like, what are you going to fucking do with Rorg and Biter? Like, make them stewards? Like, what do you make them builders? Like, you'd have to kill them immediately. They're just completely useless. Like disgusting, like dangerous guys. You couldn't use them for anything. So, I think making them faceless men makes the most sense. I think the fighting pit shit was some random stuff that George said that I don't put much stock into. Though he did like expand on the whole filed teeth thing, admittedly. But I don't think George, in reality, like, what do I think? I think George wasn't thinking about it, and it was just writing shit. And at the end of the day, but I think Faceless Men makes the most sense. If I were trying to repair the story, and I'm like, what makes the most sense? That they're Faceless Men. But probably just George just wasn't thinking. I don't know. Carmine, Trey, you guys have any idea on Rorg Biter? What do you think?
Rorg and Biter, they show up in Clash. George isn't thinking that much in Clash. Rorg and Biter, you're like,
I mean, you're right that there's that weird planning it out. Like when you get to Feast and Dance, he's putting so much thought into everything, while like he's going so fast on those first 3 books.
You're right that like it makes no sense. Like, why would you not just like execute these guys? Like they're unusable. You're unusable, and it makes no sense. Like, and maybe that's the logical Westeros just being illogical. Like, you're right. Like, what would Alistair Thorne do with Rorg and Biter? Like what would how would they make like any use?
Well, first he'd put Biter against Sam. And then he'd kill.
Like, there's like no way that these guys would ever be useful. So it is stupid, but like I think George didn't think about it. But you're right with the Brienne stuff is weird, where she's like punching his face, and it's like putty or what is the you're right that like it is worded in a like Brienne fighting Rorg and Biter is like worded in a really weird way. Like that whole fight is weird, and like the
very
sword
dream
coming, like
sequency,
the tongue becoming sword, like it is weird. But and them being like Faceless Man agents would be fine. But I think most fans write it off like them being subservient to Jaqen, like just they're scared of him. I guess I don't know. He must have done something.
Like, these guys like seem so unscared to die at every other moment.
And I like the idea because I think you might have put forth, and maybe some other. I think it was. I at least heard it from you, like the idea that Arya's kills in Harrenhal were Rorgan Biter being like put to use. Like, isn't a guy like
Mhm.
like
Yeah, no,
strangled
that's
or
definitely
something,
my theory, but
and then the
um
other guy's bitten, and like you're
yeah.
made to think that it's the dog. And
Right.
later in Feast, they have like Arya's learning poisons, right?
Yeah,
Or
and
dance,
she's
she's
like,
learning
would this
poisons.
work on dogs? Yeah. Yeah.
So
So
it's
they try to
like, oh,
explain it as the dog there, but it would make I do think that the kills being Rorgan Biter make more sense, that
yeah.
the fact that they're like subservient to him. But
Because
nothing
yeah,
with them
why do
makes
they
sense. Like
exist?
like even the brave companions promoting Rorg and Biter to like sergeant status after like a week. I have no idea why they would do that. Like it makes no sense at all. Like why because like the brave companions are bad, but they're a step below Rorg and Biter. Like the brave companions, like they can at least like organize. Um, they're not just they're not just like rabid animals. Like Rorg and Biter are just rabid fucking animals. Like they are not at all like useful human beings. I could you could maybe you could maybe think that the brave companions could be could get sent to the wall and be functional, but not Rocket Biter.
Organ Fighter, like, are you're like you're right. They're like wild animals. Like they literally are like unusable guys. And like you're right that like I'm thinking of like the thematic, like what was the purpose of Rorgan Biter in the story? And I just like can't tell you. It was just some dressing, it's just some dressing for because you're right. We don't need any more broken men. We don't need any more violent psychopaths. We have a lot of them
We
already.
have a lot. We
Uh,
have,
like
you're like we got Imri Lorch's men, we got the Mountains men, we got the Brave Companions, we got Karstarks, we got the Karstarks, like running around, all broken men in the Riverlands all at once, and Rorgan Biter too. And it's just how
like
much more do you need?
like if George removed Rorgan Biter from that cage in Clash, like how much of the story would be different? And I'm just like nothing really, like not much, right?
You're absolutely right. Like
Yeah,
had she just saved Jockin,
Jockin,
and everything would have been identical, and
yeah,
then Jamie and Brienne would just run into the Brave Companions, and
it would just be the
that's
Brave
it.
Companions. Yeah, yeah,
I mean, I suppose Brienne would need to have a showdown with somebody else besides Rorgan Biter at the end of
yeah,
Feast, but you could just make them another Brave Companion. I mean,
yeah. Make it Zolo.
make it yeah.
Make it Zolo, and we'll shave it down. We don't have any more Brave
Okay,
Companions to worry about. Urzwick the Faithful and Zolo. There you go. Boom. You can
that's
have those
it.
guys.
Yeah. Um, do you think George R. R. Martin revealing earlier this year that he's working on a John chapter means anything? And if so, how does it impact John's resurrection, future viewpoint status in the fanfic? It doesn't affect the fanfic at all, but I don't necessarily think that like George's reference on his blog like was really a reference to him working on a John chapter. I forget when it was because it was like because George has just written so little on his blog this year. Um, let me go back here. Okay, so we've got his Mad King. The Mad King is coming, and then Dreaming Spires. Let me find. Does he even say it this year? It might even be last year. This was
I believe he says it during the Hollywood Reporter article that
the Hollywood
happened in
Reporter
either
article.
December or January, I forget which, but I think he said it then.
Something like he's been working on all of this. What was the name of that one? It was reporter George R.R. Martin. It was December?
It might have been January, but it was by
George R. R.
James
Martin
Hibbert.
isn't finished? I think it's that one.
Something like that.
All right, let me see here. Yeah, I got it. Oh yeah, so this is the quote. He says, it's not quite the quote is, here's what happens when he sits down to write. I will open the last chapter I was working on and I'll say, oh fuck, this is not very good. And I'll go in and I'll rewrite it. Or I'll decide this John chapter is not coming along. Let me write this Tyrion chapter is not coming along. Let me write a Jon Snow chapter. If I'm not interrupted though, what happens, at least in the past, is sooner or later, I do get into it. So it's like, I guess he's talking about the Winds of Winter here, but the problem is that he is talking about the past and his general writing process. So he could just be talking about when, like, his Dance with Dragons experience as well, because like of his writing process. Because they're saying like, tell me about your writing process, and then he's going into the past and he's talking about his writing process. But is he talking about his current work on the Winds of Winter, or is he talking about like his writing process, like way in the past? And he just threw Jon Snow's name out there because he was stuck on the Dance with Dragons like this, going back and forth between Tyrion and Jon. So I don't know. I don't know if I take too much into it, but I mean, is Jon coming back as a point of view? Who knows? Probably, but in George's plan. But I just don't think that logistically, like, that's a very good idea, because you're now don't have enough space for everything in the Winds of Winter if you do that. So it's just I mean, realistically, like it's a math game. So you say, okay, say the Winds of Winter is the same length as the Dance with Dragons. That's 415,000 words. Divide that by 6,000 words, average a chapter, and that's 69 chapters. But his chapters have been getting longer. I think I'm trying to think like what his average was for each of them, but they've been getting longer for each book. So, what if you go 6,500 word average? Then you're dealing with like 63 chapters. So you say, how many points of view are there? There's what, 20 points of view. So you're giving each one 3. So, you've got this 3 point of view average, and then you can say, well, not everybody's going to get 3. Okay. But that only, if you cut one down, you're only giving 1 to somebody else. So like, let's say you cut, Hota down to 2 or Hota down to 1. Well, that gets you Tyrion up to 5, and that like Tyrion's going to have a fucking bunch. So is there really room for Jon chapters? I don't know, but he's not coming back in the fanfic as a point of view. So that's just where that is. How would you go about Twilight, 50 Shades of Grey, graying the fanfic? What would work, considering it's built on 5 books? I mean, if I had to, also, how do you think DMP and Time Traveling Bran gets revealed? Oh, I mean, I think Time Traveling Bran gets revealed through the Three-Eyed Crow talking to Bran. What's DMP? I don't know.
TMP.
I don't know. But
I don't know what that
nonetheless,
stands for.
you get, but with regards to like 50 Shades of Grey, you just have to go through and like change the names, change the environment. The hard part of writing is the sentence structure. It's not the objects. So like once you change like the environment and the do a copy replace, it's not too difficult. Um, then the thing is like, what about all this backstory that's not referencing anything anymore? Well, then it's just like color. Then it's just like color of this like unexplained world. Like when you read Lord of the Rings, and you're just like, and they're like, oh, and they passed by the ruins of Offnefrech, and you're like, yeah, some asshole knows exactly what that is, but for the average person just reading it, it doesn't mean anything. It's just color. Like it's just, oh, they passed by these ruins. That's cool. It sounds like it's really important. It's like I can tell you a story. I'll be like, oh yeah, I'm, it's passing through Burundi and I was in Bujumbura, and you're just like, most of you don't know anything about Burundi or Bujumbura, but they're places. They have a history. They have a long history. you know, or the lake there, or the crocodiles in that lake. Like you don't know much about the history, but I can mention, oh, pass through Burundi and Bujumbura. Okay. Anyway, I'm having to finish this up. How do you see Tommen dying? That's a good question. I haven't figured that out yet. I mean, he's obviously like, he can't really die like he did in the show, but he seems a little young for suicide. And I think when George originally envisioned the character, he thought that he would either be murdered by Jamie or like older after like a 5-year gap or whatever. So I don't know. I mean, it's a good question, but I haven't figured it out. But I suppose if you look at Fire and Blood, you've got enough children getting ripped apart and slain and thrown out windows and whatever that
So,
anything brutal can happen to them.
I may be able to give you an idea here. Maybe
Yeah.
Would you like me to give you an idea for possibly Tommen's death on this? Because
Sure.
in Witcher 2, Assassin of Kings, the video game, King Foltest is killed, and his two kids, the girl and the boy, are whisked away by nobles trying to take whatever. One of Foltest's loyal men tries to rescue them, and in the chaos, the boy is killed. But the girl survives. So, and it's off screen, of course. So
Yeah.
you could do something like that where maybe the Red Keep is assaulted, and in the chaos, they're trying to get Tommen out of there, and he dies or something. Maybe it's like an afterthought, off screen thing. Who knows? So you could do it. Just I wouldn't show it.
Yeah. Hmm. Hmm. Yeah. Certainly possible. Why a vision to someone dying in that moment? Oh, was Rhaegar already dying when he got a vision in the play? I thought the vision caused him to die.
Yeah, I thought the
The
vision
vision
interrupts them.
The vision caused him to die. The vision was basically a giant black dragon engulfing him.
Yeah. So I think it was. The idea is that it was specifically there to kill him, to distract him so he'd get killed. Otherwise he would have won somehow. I guess. That's, Moshoku Tensei is not the A Song of Ice and Fire. Anime, One Piece is. History, Lost Dragons, Ancient Tech. Would that go into the trees? Only be reincarnated as devil fruits. I could go on. Do you agree, Carmine, with your with that One Piece is?
I Poker Face Allison, hilarious name by the way. Um, I want to agree with you, but also no. One Piece is like such its own thing that it has elements. That'd be like saying like any fantasy thing with an elf is like Tolkien-esque. It's no, not really. No, I have to disagree. I love One Piece, but I have to disagree with you on that.
Yeah, I know you love One Piece, but and you think the show is an abomination?
What One Piece? No. If anything, Berserk is very George R. R. Martin-esque. I would argue, right, Trey?
Yeah. Berserk is very George. Like at times I wonder if Berserk was influenced. Well, I guess Berserk's before they probably used similar. No, they did use similar like influences, because I know that both Berserk and George used like Dragon Slayer, right, as like an influence,
and Conan and stuff like that.
and Conan. So like it's not surprising, I guess, because like they had similar starting material as influences.
What's funny, Trey, because you weren't here last week. What's funny is that the person was talking about Mushoku Tensei, which is jobless reincarnation. As I was describing it, Preston's like, "Whoa, that's very George." It's basically like this fat like jobless loser dies and gets reincarnated into like the body of a baby being born in a fantasy world, and he has the mind of a 30-year-old man, and he's like conscious of his own birth in this new body. And like he sees his mother, and like, you know, like that's very George. Preston's right, but only for the first episode.
Only for that bit. After that, it turns into some. I'm assuming it turns into some like harem girls.
Yes, you see, you know,
with
bro.
them.
Yes, you know.
Yeah. And that's not really George. That's not George. George will have a weirdo. He'll try to flirt with people, but he's ugly and weird, and there's another character that is like the better version, you know, like is like the hero, and he'll like be like George has like cucking his main characters. I feel like I don't know. I don't know. Maybe it's because I read Fever Dream recently, and Fever Dream is like literally that. You have like the Rhaegar character, or the one with High Cavalar. What is that crap? Dying of the Light.
Yeah.
Version.
You know, it'd be funny. I think like a George story would be like, he goes back in time, gets reborn as a baby, and he thinks with all of this extra knowledge, he's gonna like totally rock, and his like life is even worse. Like he somehow makes even worse decisions the second time through. Like, and like the first time through, he like, you know, got to marry like some sort of like second tier woman, but he grew to love her, but he was always pining for this one woman. And then second time through, like he loses both of them and he's just alone, you know, or something like that. Like that should be like the irony of it, with like, if I knew then what I like, if I knew then what I know now, and then it's like somehow even worse. Like wisdom did nothing for you. It's impressive how little bowl John Roxton has done. I don't understand this, his bowl cut, but
yeah, his bowl cut, because in the material he's called Bold John Roxton. Get it? Bold.
You're bold. Gotcha. Bold. Yeah. No, it is funny. Like he's a pretty brutal, horrible character in the books, and so I mean, doing quite a bit of raping in the books, and they haven't had him do any of that. So it's he hasn't been that bold.
John Roxton is just basically like he's
just there.
He's Vader to Ormond Tarkin. Like he's Boba Fett. Actually, no, he's Boba Fett.
He's more Boba Fett. You're right. But
like,
except that he doesn't look cool at all. But you're right that like God. Vader is remarkably not much of a character. Like he is just such second fiddle to Tarkin. Like going back and thinking, because we think of Vader as being such a fucking splash character because of that suit, but in the original Star Wars, like Tarkin is the one that really fucking is the one in control and is the one that's rocking. And Vader just kind of stands around looking cool.
Then Boba Fett's even less. You know,
Even less. I mean,
Boba Fett
nothing. 5
dies by
lines.
accident. You know, people
Yeah.
don't remember that Boba Fett. Like, there's the Han Solo thing where he's like, Boba Fett, where? And he like literally trips and kills Boba Fett. That's what happens.
Yeah.
Boba
It's
Fett,
like the
Boba
biggest.
Fett dies
That
by
type of
accident.
bullshit would never. That type of bullshit would never fly now, because George was like, you know what, Boba Fett's cool, but he's not part of this. Let's just kill him off and like whatever. Who cares? That would never fly now. A character like that, it's got to have a spin-off, a movie, a musical, a
I
video
mean,
game.
they
Like
all
that,
kind
that
of,
shit.
even George Lucas realized what a mistake he made, because he's just like, I'm just gonna have this be like a joke. How much of a how pathetic he actually is. You think he's gonna be really cool, and then I'm just gonna kill him immediately. And that was it. The in season 2 of Buffy. So season 1 of Buffy, the villain establishes that like the next big bad is going to be this little kid called the Anointed One, and he became a vampire as a little child, and he's like super evil, and you think it's going to be a big deal, and then the next season like opens, and some other vampires just come in and kill him immediately, and it's kind of funny, but like you talk to like Joss Whedon only did it because he's like, you can't have a little kid be the big bad because the little kids grow up. So we had to fucking kill him off. Like, like it's just, we fully, like when we wrote that shit first, like you were like, oh yeah, Anointed One's going to be the evil one, is going to be the villain. But it's just like, nah, this isn't going to work. But people have like love it. They're like, oh yeah, subverted our expectations. But it's like completely a function of the fact that like he couldn't have a kid around. Super loud scream 10 seconds before you looked out the window. Yeah, well, he was coming. He could hurt him forever, and then hurt him after that. Our screamy guy. I thought the play had Yor Ashara forcing politics on Ned, but Lyanna and Rhaegar. Great calls on the plot, like Maester John liking Alaros instead of Rosie. Yeah, the play. So I haven't gotten too many details on who exactly Ashara talks to. It sounds like she's talking to Elia mostly in the play, but yeah, in the fanfic, Ashara is like talking to Ned, like she's trying to get Ned to do shit, and um, she's trying to get her brother to do shit, and her brother is trying to convince Rhaegar to do shit, and like she's manipulating people through Ned and her brother in the fanfic. But the Ashara points, I don't know if Ashara from the leaks from the play, it sounds like Ashara is kind of an extra character that doesn't need to be there, because it sounds like Elia is really the main character. Elia and Lyanna are really the main characters, and Ashara is just this third wheel. Did you get that impression, Carmine, from
Absolutely,
the
absolutely. Ashara is there to just, I guess, the major thing that Ashara does that stood out to me was she tells Ned the location of the Tower of Joy. That's like the main thing that she does that stood out. Unless I'm missing something, but for the most part, that's the most important thing she does, is tell Ned where to go.
Huh? Someone watched the play and said that Elia Ashara didn't show up in their version, or they're talking about the relationship. And that Jamie is pelted by rocks now that turn to sand instead of cabbages.
Oh my gosh. It's funny, Preston, when you brought up like the stuff with plays, that plays like evolve and change, because I know that I know a little bit about the Cats play. The Cats play evolved and changed over time. Where like there was like in some versions of the play they like played up the the gayness between two characters. Like they have them flirt, and other versions just like don't have that at all. So like, oh, interesting. A lot of people like you don't think about that how much plays can be altered.
Right.
I guess with
Workshopped.
Shakespeare plays, they can be like they keep the text, but how they interpret the text can change wildly. But like even like you're saying, like even the text can change. Like even like
absolutely.
the text of the play.
Hold on,
Wow.
I want you to put this up. This is fucking hilarious meme about on topic about like. Put this, so good. Put this up because this is basically the play.
Hi, I'm Liana, and this is my boyfriend Rhaegar, and his wife Elia, and her girlfriend Ashara, and her boyfriend Brandon, and his fiancee Catelyn, and her husband Ned, and his boyfriend Robert, and his wife Cersei, and her boyfriend Jaime. Everybody relax. That's true. That's true. But yeah, it's interesting. I mean, they might also just test something out one night and be like, well, let's try that out. And then not do it again, you know. And dying play, Rhaegar now says Lyanna's name. So so this comes from in the book, well, in the House of the Undying, Dany has the vision of the man in the river talking, saying the name of the person he loves, right? But I guess him saying Lyanna is not in. Was that not in some versions? Trying to get to the. One to love. Right? Isn't that the? I'm trying to find the actual quote in the House of the Undying, but. Oh well. I will. I thought he says something like the because I heard some people say like that there was some sort of contradiction with regards to him saying the name, and I was like, I thought he says Lyanna's name.
There's a vision like the last words in his lips are the name of a woman or something like that.
Something like that.
Right? I know what you're talking about. That's is that in the play, Carmine? Does he say Lyanna with his last words, or does he say time traveling?
I remember
Bran,
someone telling
vision?
me. I remember someone telling me they did not hear it, and then apparently it was added in later. That's what I was told.
Somebody complained.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, Carmine, have you gotten? How do they visualize Daenerys? Daenerys in like the vision. Is she like an image, like an image on the wall? They have a little person come out.
Idea.
Okay.
Puppet? Is it a puppet?
A little puppet Dany. Does she have hair? Which continuity are you following it? Does she have hair? Is she bald?
That's a very good question.
That essentially like would settle it, right? If she's he's seeing a vision of her with dragons and she's not bald, then you know it's not book continuity.
Right.
The play does establish Varys had access to Aegon and Ashara was raising Aegon while Elia was locked up. And considering the Ashara-Elia relationship, could Ashara be Lemore as a parallel to Jon Con and Aegon being real? Oh. Well, first off, if the show was that, I mean, if the play was that concerned with book continuity, they would have shoved John Conn into the fucking play. Um, he's a major character who who was at Harrenhal, who was involved in all sorts of events in Robert's Rebellion. He was at the Battle of the Bells, you know, all this shit. Like John Conn, you'd think like his absence is kind of the big thing of like, oh, you're not doing book continuity. Because like, why wouldn't there be fucking John Conn? Like, come on.
Right.
Um, but if the play is establishing that Ashara was the one that was raising Aegon, I think that's kind of weird to me because raising children, like doing the children shit, is even beneath like the handmaid stuff. Like the handmaids are there to like bathe and dress the woman and like entertain her and like have tea with her or whatever, have crumpets. Um, while you know the rearing of children, that's like your common servants or whatever who would be doing that. So it's odd that like even Ashara was raising Aegon. Um, but it says she was raising Aegon while Elia was locked up. How long was Elia locked up for? Couldn't have been that long, right?
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, it has a parallel for Ashara being Lemore. Like obviously like George made Lemore's identity so much of a secret that it could be a lot of different characters. And yeah, did he leave it open for Lemore being Ashara? Sure, absolutely. Um, you know, Ashara could be Quaithe, Ashara could be Lemore, Ashara could be nobody, Ashara could be dead. You know, who knows? He left it open. You know this is like I know that people are like, wow, but Tyrion didn't comment about her eyes. It doesn't matter. Like George left it open. It could definitely be Lemore, but um, I don't think the play is like establishing that sort of like parallel. But I think that's just a chance thing that you found there. Um, but yeah, that's it. I anyway, it is 1 o'clock.
Mhm.
Any last things before I head to bed, Trey, Carmine?
No, I don't think
No.
so. No, no, I think we're good.
Thank you guys for coming in and hanging, and thank you all for being with me here. And I guess I'll see you guys soon. I'll talk to you guys later. Thank you.